All right, everybody, and welcome to another very special episode of Fourever Rivals on the Jumper Punch channel. I am the Scotty Tompkins, and thank you everyone for tuning in for your premiere entertainment on Wednesday night. Now, let's quickly go around the grounds, shall we, and meet our favorite rivals. Liam, great to see you, mate, back in high def.
Absolutely, mate. We are back on the laptop, which is good. It was a scary couple of days without it because, being a student without a laptop sucks ass pretty much. Yeah. But we're back to normal. Maybe even the internet will be fantastic tonight. But we're excited for a big show as always, mate. As always.
As always, Liam. If we want to talk about sucking ass, we'll cover your game later. Now, TJP's rising star, Bo Check, has kindly joined us again this week. Bo, fantastic of you to join us. How you been?
Rocco got me out of bed for this, and I got a raging headache, but I'm keen. I got things to say. I got things to say.
I'm glad that you do,
man. Bo's getting upset. Know what I mean?
Bo's gonna have a freak off, and now everyone, TJP's Fourever Rivals' favourite son, Magpie Manny. You're looking good today, mate. Is that a fresh cut or?
Yeah, another fresh cut there, Scotty. Thanks for the warm greetings and good evening, everyone. Yeah, it's good to be back on the winning ride, if that's what you want to call it. We're just we've had a good training session thanks to the Richmond Football Club. We'll talk a bit about them later on. It's good to see that Liam got a bit excited, but I think we're coming down to the business end of the season now. It's 4 more games to go, and I'm looking forward to listening to a lot of football. And good evening to you three gentlemen, and then to all our viewers out there. I hope you have a good show.
Speaking of our viewers, Manny, we have the best chat, the best community in the game. Let's get a little intro for all our favorites. We have Carlton Blazing Blues, Lou Foligno, Mr. Rocco Moro from the West, Mick Marcucci, the Gooch himself, Enzo Valentino, beautiful man. Everyone's favorite Greek, Wog Mum Matula. We love you, Matula. Michelle, so glad to have you. Oz Eights, single-handedly sponsoring this channel. We love you, Oz. Where are you going to be this Sunday? You better be at the Sporting Globe Northland. We'll get to that in a second. Jai S, Sammy NBA, we love you, mate. Liam, you do realize you're on this stream, but it's good to see you hyping up the chat.
I can actually read the chat tonight, so I'm excited because I missed out last week.
Fantastic. Stuart McQuaid, we love you, mate. And, well, if Manny's our favorite son, Seb is also our other favorite son here at the Jumper Punch. Good to see you, Seba. Yes, true. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not. Seba, how's the back, mate? And just reminding everybody, if this is your first time watching the show, please make yourself known in the chat. We like to see new faces, and we'll say hello to everybody, of course, including our other favorite son, Peter V. We're going to be looking at some more sick content this man's produced. He's just a content-making machine, this guy. He just does not stop. And yes, Andreas, Black and White United. Good to see you trucking along, mate. Andreas will be joining us a bit later because we actually need somebody competent to cover the Collingwood game. And Blue Bagger, Robert Galicchio. He keeps going, mate. We love you all. Nick Capsalis, mate. All right. I got to stop now. Thank you so much. We love you all. We love you all. Thank you for joining us. And I'd just like to remind everybody that all shows on TJP are sponsored by the Sporting Globe Northland. Everybody, please. I don't care if you're a scum or filth or Tigers supporter that is watching this show. Please make your way down to our final TJP catch-up this Sunday at 5 p.m. at the Sporting Globe Northland to watch the Fremantle Vaseline job on Carlton this Sunday. Please, that's the last one of the year. Everyone get there. what does it show? Expression of interest. There's a link in the description below. Please, we want as many people there as possible to turn that place upside down. Manny, I know you said you'd be there. Can't wait to see you. Bo, you'll be covering our new favorite addition to the Jumper Punch, the TJP Watch Along. So if anybody can't make it, please watch Bo because he's fantastic and everybody is loving the Watch Along. Mate, it's unreal, seriously. And Liam, we'll be seeing you there, mate. I'll pick you up if we need to.
Mate, I will be there. So if you guys need another good reason to get down,
that's awesome. And
all of this.
First and only time at Northland Shopping Centre. Trust me. I'm
a little scared. I've heard it's a bit sketchy.
That's all right. Well, you hang around me, mate, and no one will come running at you.
You'll be fine.
Stuff, you know.
And one of our bigger announcements that we have to get through, our biggest possibly, is the up-and-coming TJP live show at Howler, Brunswick. If you don't mind, I'm going to play the most hype video we might have ever seen on TJP. Let's go. Yes, yes, ladies and gentlemen, please make it to TJP Live at Howler in Brunswick on the 30th of August. We have the legendary Brad Pearce, the legendary Heath Scotland, and the legendary FEVOLUtion himself, Mr. Brendan FEVOLA. Ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't aware of this new addition to TJP Live, where the freak have you fellas been living? I was honestly shocked when our Don Rocco told us that Fev was the third edition to TJP Live. What an incredible get.
Mate.
Monday Blues will also be joining us. Legendary Monday Blues and other legendary figures. I think some of the rivals might be making an appearance at Howlers. So it'll be great to see everyone and to see off the year and commiserate about not being in the finals the following week. But we'll reflect on what a great year that it's been. Definitely not for Carlton, but for the Jumper Punch as a whole. Honestly, it just gets better and better every year. And these live events are best night of the year, I have to say. Food's incredible. People's amazing. And the actual content on the stage isn't half bad either. So it's great to see everyone's face. Tickets are selling fast. Try booking link is in the description. Bruh, it's like 5 minutes in and I already can't talk. Please buy a ticket. Buy a ticket now before they all run out and make your way to Howlers in Brunswick for TJP Live. Can't wait to see you all and give you all a massive, massive hug. Fellas, shall we get into it?
Boom.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Wait, before we get into it, warning, emergency announcement. If you're not doing anything the night before on the 29th of August, please make it to Remix Mania, the premier event for wrestling's premier nightclub. Mr. Bocek, I believe this is your personal project. Why don't you tell the punters all about it? And you also have your own little announcement to make about Remix Mania, don't you?
Yeah, so night before, as Scotty said, down at La Di Da in the city, So it's a wrestling nightclub, standard nightclub event, but we're playing wrestling tunes all night. We've got wrestling themed drinks and so on and so forth. You can check it all out on Instagram. All the information is there. So just look up Remix Mania. You'll see it. But if you are heading to the TJP live show, see, I can't even speak now. You're giving it to me.
Oh boy!
If you're heading to the TJP live show and you screenshot and send that to me on Instagram, and you've got a ticket to my event as well, I will be purchasing your first drink at my event. So that'll be on me.
Amazing. On the arm, they say.
Yeah, we've got a few. The tickets are going really, really well now, but we are very limited. We're actually more limited than what the live show is. So if you miss out, you miss out. But a lot of the boys are coming down from the Jumper Punch and I guess the extended friends and family of that. So a big, cool little precursor.
Nice little TJP bender, I think we're locking in for. So if anybody has kick-ons for Sunday morning, let us know and we'll promote that too.
Jeez.
So
in Warragul. We're going to Warragul.
Come down to Gold Vegas, all right? I mean, it's non-stop kick-ons down in God's country. Now, fellas, shall we get into it? Now, what a week in football it has been. Now, I was thinking, because this particular story came across my desk just after that fantastic music conversation that kicked off last week. Grand final entertainment, everybody. The AFL simply cannot outdo themselves. Snoop Doggy Dogg or Ed Sheeran rumors swirl around this year's AFL Grand Final show, as reported by the Herald Sun. Drop it like it's hot. The AFL's new commitment to megastar overseas acts has rapper Snoop Dogg and fan favorite, all right, Ed Sheeran at the top of the Grand Final entertainment wish list. Negotiations are now at the pointy end, with lead executives nervously awaiting confirmation, potentially by early next week, of who will follow in the footsteps of last year's stunning success of Katy Perry. It's understood that the league has a budget of about $2 million to lure the global artist, including a revved-up world-class production of the pre-game extravaganza in late September. The Snoop Dogg rumor gained momentum this week, and it is understood that he is the current front runner. Now, rivals, what the fudge are we doing here? Seriously, Snoop Dogg for the AFL? Are we for real? Like, as I said before, the AFL simply can't help but outdoing themselves here. Like, can they not read the room? Is it seriously just about like bumping resumes at this organization? What the frick does Snoop Doggy Dogg and, well, Ed Sheeran, by the way, have to do with our great game? How are either of those acts going to rev either team up or the crowd up before the last dance in September? Bocek, you're a music man. What are your thoughts about this? Well, we have to call it a rumor, but it seems where there's smoke.
Honestly, my point of view is that I don't really care who's on at halftime, before the game, any of that sort of stuff. For me, I'm watching the game because I'm watching the game. I don't care who's singing and all that sort of shit. So, however, if I had to have an opinion on who I think should be at something like that, I think, well, it's so hard when you don't care, right? But if you really want to G up the crowd, or even, the players and stuff like that, a lot of them listen to house music, to big room, to stuff like that, right? If you want to get an Australian artist in there, and it's not going to be a band, and it's not going to be, a singer or anything like that, go and do something different. And I would probably say a good idea is Timmy Trumpet, Aussie DJ, probably the biggest export at the moment in terms of Aussie DJs, and has been for a long time. He plays the trumpet. He's entertaining. He's energetic as hell. If you want to get the crowd up and dancing and all the rest of it like they love, that wouldn't be such a bad move. But as for having Snoop Dogg and stuff there, it doesn't. I mean, look, they're going to spend money on stupid stuff regardless. I don't think it's such a bad thing. The crowd knows who he is. He's a mainstream artist. Everyone knows him. It is what it is.
I don't really know Snoopy that well, but from what I do know, it's not as though his music is particularly like uplifting. They're not exactly like, I don't know, something that a crowd can get up and about. Magpie Manny, you seem like a bit of a Snoopy fan. What are your thoughts on the news?
Oh, look, it's one of those things. I think the AFL finds that this is the way it's going to promote itself on the international scale. We've got a lot of good local talent, but they won't use it because the local talent is not what we're going to be able to promote, which is silly because you think about if you got, say, a good Aussie band that's playing, what best way to promote the game internationally? But what they want to do is they want to be like in the NFL. You know what I mean? They want to be Americanized. Before you know it, and it won't be too long, you'll have Trump. He'll be coming to Australia and he'll be giving it to all you politicians because you love him. Let's bend over. Trump, here he comes. I mean, come on. I mean, you want to be so Americanized. I mean, I can tell you right now, America ain't a country you want to live in. I mean, you're scared to take your kids to school. I don't want to talk more about that, but we're not going to get into politics.
That's fair enough, Matty. And even if Trump did come to Australia, I'm not sure he'd be too keen to be added to another flight list.
No, well, to me, it's just they're not worried about promoting the game in this country because the game is huge in the country. It's about promoting it internationally, and that's what it is. So they think we bring the big names in, and it's going to hit the big audience. I mean. Personally, they fucked up with Meatloaf. The poor bastard. Whether he had, whether something wasn't working, whether he wasn't working, but it was, that was pretty shit. A couple of years ago, they had that singer from the Commodores, Lionel Richie. I mean, what music is Lionel Richie going to sing to be able to get that crowd revved up?
Well, that's my same point with Snoopy Dogg. But apparently, according to the Boomers, Lionel Richie was a crowd favorite. But to your point about being able to promote the sport overseas, when we had Katy Perry, who was one of the biggest international acts of the last 20 years, we allegedly paid upwards of $5 million for 20 minutes for her. If you went on YouTube or anywhere after the game, you couldn't find that performance anywhere. So I don't know where this international audience is seeing this great grand final entertainment. And by the way, it's the grand final for the Australian Football League in Australia. I think the Australians that are actually watching this fudging sport should be the first in line. But I think actually, Liam, you were speaking about this in our little group chat. The last Australian gig that we had for the grand final was the DMAs, and you had some thoughts about them and how they went at the grand final. Was that 21?
Yeah, it was before. It was when COVID kind of hit. So when they had the grand final out in Brisbane, and then they had the grand final over in Perth. That was the last time that they had Australian accent. To be honest, it was good. I love the DMAs. They're one of my favorite bands, but it was more their song choice that got me because I feel like, and gathering from what I'm seeing in the chat and hearing from you guys is we want an anthem. We want something that pumps the crowd up, something that everyone can sing along with, something that's, like when you walk out onto that sporting ground, that's what you want to hear. And yes, that's why I was kind of upset with them because I was kind of like, yeah, like you sound good, but doesn't fit the vibe. Birds of Tokyo, though, another band I like, they smashed it. They did like a little medley or whatever, a few songs.
Yeah.
I know they did. They covered Straight Lines by Silverchair because that was wicked. That's one of my favorite songs.
Silverchair's a personal favorite of mine, much to some people's chagrin, but we won't get into that.
No, it's but like that song, it's an anthem. Like that's the sort of song that you want. So
yeah, and shouldn't that be the priority, especially for like pre-game entertainment? What is the purpose? It's to rev people up and get, if you aren't already out of your seat for an AFL grand final and you need a musical act just to get you going. Like, shouldn't you get something that gets the blood pumping?
I think,
You know,
also the problem that we kind of have with it is kind of sort of touching on what you said and what Manny said is it's traditional. The AFL Grand Final it's a big tradition over in Australia. It's for Australian people. So I don't understand why we're trying to Americanize everything, like Manny said, and get these big stars to the game. It's like, I understand that, like, wow, like, yeah, Snoop Dogg's obviously going to draw eyes. I get that. But what does he have to do with football? I don't see, like, you're telling me, but we're going to get this big superstar and pay $5 million, maybe more, to get him in. What does that actually have to do
look,
with
Snoop Dogg would be inspiring if you've got, say, the Essendon Football Club playing in the grand final, you know, because Snoop Dogg is somehow, I don't even know how they're allowing him in the country, because we all know he's got a bit of history.
It's funny you say that, Matty, because not even, I think it was just around 20 years ago when he tried to tour here with D12. He was barred from entering the country because of his felonies, like his drug and criminal convictions. I know 20 years ago was a different time, and he's allegedly revamped his image, but and not to go all like, think about the kids or whatever, but do kids these days know who Snoopy Dogg is?
Yeah, I think they do. I think they know who he is.
Yeah. Maybe if Liam Romeo pops up in the chat, maybe I'll ask him. But yeah, my whole point has always been it's an Australian sport. If we're celebrating this, we have to celebrate Australian culture and have, you know, Australians bringing up our biggest game of the year. And when I look back, you know, at 95 and some other grand finals in the 90s, at halftime, they would bring out like the golden oldies and sing like Waltzing Matilda and that might seem like a bit maybe cringe or whatever to some people, but I see that as like a true celebration of Australian culture at our Australian game. And I think we kind of miss a bit of that, especially in this day and age, but I wasn't really around in those times. So maybe I'm looking at it with rose tinted glasses, but certainly put a bit of a lump in my throat watching back a few of those performances, because it was patriotic and almost spiritual to a sense. And that's what really, you know, brought us all together at some point at a flipping footy game. Sorry.
Just get Greg Champion in.
Who?
And nobody knows who Greg Champion is. Yes. Oh, buddy, sorry, Manny, do you know who Greg Champion is?
Yeah, Greg Champion. I was going to say you can get, I think they're called Tones and I.
Nah, she's washed, bro. She was never good.
She can go back to Byron. Anyway, so Greg Champion.
She's on Ozempic now. She's lost all her soul and charm.
Vance Joy.
All right. Who sent you this list, Manny?
Vance Joy.
Genesis
Manny's going through the ARIA charts and just naming anybody at this point.
Come on, man. I mean, they're there. They exist.
I've seen a few good suggestions in the chat.
You should get Young Philly.
Yeah, like I've seen a few good suggestions in the chat. I mean, you can always dust off Paul Kelly, I suppose. Hunters and Collectors has gotten a few shout outs, which I wouldn't mind, honestly, even though they're a bit boomer coded. But they have those anthems, like Liam was saying.
That's a bloody good
one.
My back in the day with the promo, wasn't it?
Pardon?
For Channel 10. Their song Holy Grail, that was like the big promo back in the day.
Yeah, it was back in the day. And while speaking of broadcasting channels promos, this has been like maybe a personal choice of mine for a pre-game rev up, but Parkway Drive. I know it'll turn a few people's nose out of joint, but they did the Fox Footy theme this year, and I thought maybe they were lining them up, and they were ticking all the boxes. It's like a very or comparatively cheap Australian band. Yes, it's like heavy music, but it's roaring. And they released a single called Savior, and the hook in the chorus is like saying like, we won't be defeated, we'll stand up and we'll fight, shit like that. I thought they were getting geared up for a big grand final announcement. They did a show at the flipping Sydney Opera House. and they flipping announced another flipping tour. I thought it was all gearing up, but do yourselves a favor and look up Parkway Drive and some of their live performances. They've got fireworks, they got pyros. The guy on the drums is literally in like this cage and he turns upside down and spins around like a flipping roller coaster. If you want to get G'd up, man, my ticket would be for Parkway Drive, but maybe we'll quickly go around the rounds and suggest an act and before we move on. This has been a great chat, by the way. Liam, who would you like to see at this year's grand final?
There's so much that I like, man. I will stick with the one that I think a couple of people in the chat agreed. I'll stick with Bird to Tokyo. But if we are to get a rapper, even though I'm not with it, if we had like Eminem come out and do Lose Yourself, that would be mental.
Oh,
Jesus!
Actually,
that would be like the only one that I'd allow.
I will confess to something. I'm sorry to the TJP Forever Rivals faithful. But the other week, what was it? I think it was when we played. Who did we play or who did we lose to? I think it was the Collingwood game. I didn't go to that game because fuck that. I mean, flip that. But I did go to the Footscray Adelaide game because me and my cousins were given tickets by the club, and their pre-game rev up at Marvel, the whole place goes dark. These dogs start woofing, woof, woof, woof. They're barking and shit. And then the wolf goes, woof, woof. And then it goes into Lose Yourself. And it goes off, man. I thought it was going to be so gay. I mean, cringe. But it actually was sick. And it puts Carlton to shame. But sorry, that was just my little tangent on Eminem, Liam. But honestly, if they could somehow get Eminem, if it's anything just like Footscray's rev up, I'd rate it. Mr. Bocek?
Look, if you gave me a blank check and it had to be a band, I would say it has to be AC/DC, right? But if not, then if it was going to be something overseas, Metallica.
Yeah, true. I've never listened to Metallica in my life. Sorry.
They've got a couple good anthems.
Hang on. Our favorite sons, Oh, yes. Seba with the 299. Slice and dice back to back with GDG. JDG. Seba's best mate.
You're an idiot.
Not a bad pick. Warrigal's favorite slice and dice. Now, Manny, who are you bringing to the grand final pre-game entertainment?
Look, I don't know, but I would have liked to see Kylie Minogue. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Kylie Minogue. If you're going to have something that's going to be very, very easy on the eye and also very entertaining, why not get Kylie? I mean, last year we had what's her name from the US?
Katy Perry.
Yeah,
Katy Perry. You know what I mean? Katy, she's a bit of a fireworks. Is very easy in the eye, and it was entertaining, but the year of 2023 when we had Kiss play, that was something unique.
I thought Kiss. I know it was a last minute arrangement, and I was like, oh, but it was okay, and it sucked that it was a flipping Collingwood grand final, and they have Kiss, who's all in black and white, and they have hundreds of children and no Joffa, all in black and white. It was actually a great show. Thank you for reminding me of that, Manny.
It's all right.
Manny is spot on. Kylie would be huge.
Yeah, and if you nabbed Kylie, throw in Danny for steak knives. If she doesn't want to go up
on a couple years ago for it.
If she doesn't want to go up on stage, she can sit in the VIP box with Manny.
Wouldn't say no.
He's getting a bit excited thinking about that.
All right, okay. I think we need to move on. Now.
Move on.
For what is very quickly turning into possibly the biggest story of the year. All right, I'll admit to it. I might have poo-pooed it a bit last week, but as I said before, where there is smoke, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Silvani, this story about our favorite son at Carlton possibly moving to the arch rival Collingwood is gaining legs. And wow, shall we just get a little blurb for this one? Collingwood coach Craig McRae, pencil neck, has met with Jack Silvani as Carlton's favourite son moves closer to a once unthinkable switch to the Blues' fiercest rivals. Silvani, who is a third-generation Carlton player, appears likely to leave the Blues as a free agent at the end of the season, with the Magpies leading the race as their coach's first date with a defender. Now, before I go on, can we not, please? Do we have to? I asked if he had met with Silvani. McRae said, yeah, I did. I'm confident to say we'll be exploring what the best version of us looks like. And when there's free agents available, we'll keep exploring those things as well as other things. Asked if he felt Collingwood was a chance to get Silvani, McRae stressed that that was the role of list manager Justin Lepich and football boss Charlie Gardner. I just met a young man and we had a first date to see if we like each other, McRae said. Seriously. Yeah, I could go on a second date with Jack. Now, what I thought was actually a serious story for a minute. Of course, the head coach of Collingwood has to make it, But, fellas, this story is constantly gaining traction. Mr. Bocek, I know you had a few things you wanted to say. I have a feeling it might have something to do with this. Jack Silvani at the Pies, it's almost looking like a done deal, mate. And I'm afraid to say it, but it might be goodbye, Jack.
Yeah, look, I personally think it's going to go through. It is what it is. I'm probably going to get some haters from the Team Positive and Echo Chamber crew and all the rest of it, right? But fact of the matter is, and we heard it on Tuesday night, I said it in one of my videos as well, we don't support Surname FC. We support Carlton FC, right? So the way I look at it is anyone who we're at a point now where we need players that want to play at Carlton, that want to be a Carlton player and put on that jumper, right? We need some pride. We need some passion, right? This is cool runnings right now, yeah? So if we don't have those players and they don't want to be at the club for whatever reason it is, I don't care what your surname is. I don't care what your legacy is. I don't care who your dad and your grandfather were. Get out, right? It's as simple as that, right? The history doesn't get you flags in the future. It's great for nostalgic value and it's great to be a motivator and all the rest of it, okay? But whatever happened in the past and whatever Sauce did at the club, okay, and whatever Serge did at the club and all that was great, awesome, means nothing right now. So if he wants to go and he goes, who cares? We're still going to be here. The club's still going to be here. In 10 years...
I think that's the problem, Bo. You keep saying the club. But let me tell you at the moment...
No, I wasn't finished.
I think the club's failing at the moment. Because I think the club is failing. And Carlton is a big club, but at the moment it's failing. If you're looking at all these big names, the question I'd be asking is, why are these players not wanting to stay? So, you've got to be able to say, okay, we're Carlton. Oh, we're Carlton. Okay, big deal. You're Carlton. Okay, you're Carlton. That's fine. The history, this and that. But right now,
I don't care about the history, Manny.
You're struggling. But you're struggling. You want to see your fans want to see premierships. Your fans want to see that club achieve. Now, at the end of the day, you've got to try and create something unique in that club to want to keep those players, right? Now, to me, it looks like they're given this option. Well, they shouldn't be given the option. They should be feeling comfortable to say, you know what, I'm happy to sign for another 3-4 years. I want to stay at this club. Now, in terms of Sauce, I don't think he's going to leave. I don't think he's going to come to Collingwood.
Wait, Manny, can I finish what I was going to say first?
Yeah.
Yeah, let him finish, Manny.
All right.
I was going to go onto the atmosphere and the culture at the club, which is potentially, we don't know, right, is potentially part of the reason he doesn't want to be there. And I agree with you. There's something wrong at the club that is making players not want to be there, right?
Yeah.
Totally get that. And that needs to change. But what I'm saying is we can't expect players to stick around until that gets better, right? Even though every time I've ever seen him put on the Carlton jumper, he is a heart and soul player. He plays for the emblem, right? That's great. But if you are entertaining the thought of going elsewhere for whatever reason it is, and the club can't hold you, now, hypothetically, he goes, I don't care. We will get someone else, right? The same way I don't care that we've waited 30 years for a fucking premiership. Eventually, we will get one. I hate it, but eventually we will get one, okay? It's just a fucking massive waiting game right now. It's just a waiting game. And yes, like I say, there is something wrong at the club, but I don't care. All these people that are saying if I'm hearing, these are comments that I've seen on my videos and comments I've seen throughout the week, right? If Silvani goes to Carlton, I'm done with this club. I won't be supporting anymore. I've been a member for 55 years. I'm done. So what that tells me is that you are a Silvani fan. You're not a Carlton fan. Now, the flip side, I understand because they're frustrated that the club is allowing this to happen. I get that, right? But what, you're going to throw away all your support and just stop? And then in 10 years, when maybe we're good again, you're going to come back and start flying the flag again? Don't bandwagon this shit, right? At the end of the day, you stick on board regardless of who. Did anyone crack when FEVOLA left? Jezelenko left our club and went to the Saints and then came back, right? So what I'm saying is players come and go. All right. I don't care about anyone's surname. I don't care if someone's grandfather's turning in his grave and all the rest of it. We just need players that want to play at the club. And in turn, yes, we do need to fix what's going on in the culture. And Manny, I totally agree with you on that 100% because I'm a big advocate for thinking that this club is, I've used the word 20,000 times.
And I agree with you, bro. I agree with you, bro. At the end of the day, there's no name that's going to be bigger than the club. And that's something we all understand. But my question is, why is there so much turmoil that you've got? Because when you look at it,
I can tell you,
you've got some great players, but it's all about how do you try and keep these players. And at the moment, the fact they want to leave, it's causing. To me, it looks like there's a lot of instability. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of issues, and you think to yourself now. Just to go back to what we're saying about Silvani, I actually don't think he'll go. I think Graham Wright he's going to step in, and I think he's going to be able to convince him to stay because I know that Graham Wright and Kelly at Collingwood don't have a very good relationship. Yep. I know that he doesn't like Leppich. So to him, it would be a kick in the nuts. For Graham Wright, this would be a kick in the nuts if the son of Sauce does go. But as a Collingwood fan, I'd love to see him. Because something that you said.
Yeah, of course you would, man.
He plays with a lot of heart and with a lot of soul.
He plays with a lot of heart and soul if he can actually get out there on the park, Manny. He's only played over 20 games a season twice. He really averages only about 10 games a year when you really look at it. And if he goes to Collingwood, fine, you guys are going to end up paying massive overs for him, in my opinion. And I don't think that we should be held ransom at any point by any player, no matter who they are. Now, to add on to what Bo was saying, since 22, or at least this kind of Voss era, every season we've been challenged to mature as a fan base. And a lot of it came around kind of letting a lot of players go or allowing them to leave, if you want to say it that way. And it started with a lot of the chaff and then all the injured players. And then everyone was happy to see them go until a proper name got involved. And then we kind of had a meltdown over Kennedy and Owies, which I'm sorry, guys, but they're just bang average players. And one of them's doing better under a better system, but he's still the same player over there. Now, this is a real test for Carlton supporters because an actual name, not even necessarily a player, is attached to just a name. Can we really just get past this? Because we're just always going to be a basket case if we keep blowing up over things like this. If you think Jack Silvani leaving Collingwood is the greatest challenge that we have to face as a club, you got rocks in your head, bro.
I wanted to add a couple extra things to what I was going to say before. Hypothetically speaking, in 5-10 years, not that I believe it's going to happen, but hypothetically speaking, Jack Silvani goes, we go and win a flag in the next 10 years. Everyone's going to not give a shit that he went there. because at the end of the day, we want premierships, right? On the subject of his injury-prone record that he has, right, on his injury record, okay, that's under our system, and that's under our department, our health and fitness, our strength and conditioning, and so on and so forth. We know Collingwood's is better, right? Now, whilst he's injury-prone, we don't know if that continues over there. They might get him right.
Well, actually, Bocek, I just want to quickly say there too, Jack Silvani, let's be real, if he wanted to be playing right now, he probably could.
I think so.
From what we know, he's not playing by choice. I don't want somebody like that at my club. I don't care what the situation is. You play football for Carlton. I expect you to be if you're able to play football, I expect you to be out there playing football.
Yep.
And if you're cracking the shits and don't want to be coached by Voss or whatever's going on, back up the reserves and teach them how to play if you're so important to this club.
I've got a question for the chat, if you don't mind, Scotty.
Of course. Because
I'd love to
check, by the way, goated chat engager.
I love throwing questions out to the chat on the watch along. So on that note, if you're in the watch along this week, do not be afraid to say anything. We'll talk about everything. So I've got a question for the chat, and I want their honest opinions. This is the situation with Silvani. He might go to Collingwood. It seems like he doesn't want to be at Carlton anymore. His heart's not in it anymore. It is what it is, right? Say that was any other player on our team, right? Or it was a fringe player, right? And their heart wasn't in it. They're not performing. They've had a few injuries and so on and so forth. Would you care as much if they went and start throwing tantrums and your toys out of the pram about not supporting the club and so on and so forth if it was another player, or is it just because of his surname? And if it is just because of his surname, then you need to reevaluate who you support. But I still ask the question, if you would feel the same.
Yeah, great question, Bo. Great question. And this is one I want to open up to just Manny and Liam while the chat bubbles away. If we completely remove all the emotion from the situation, and I tell you that almost about 10 years ago, we picked up a player as a third rounder, and after 10 years, we could trade him in for potentially end of band 1 or top of band 2 compensation. Would you take that deal?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what they'd turn out to be, but I think
after 10 years, hasn't played 200 games, only found his what we say his natural position after about 8, and he's only played that for about 6 to 9 games. Picked him up as a third rounder, potentially get a first rounder as a return after 10 years under the system. Do you see that as a worthy investment or a trade?
You see, I've noticed that there's players that leave from one team after a number of years. They go to another team, and all of a sudden, it just seems to be that it's either the training or the way they're supporting the player changes, whether it's the environment that changes, is it maybe the combination of the right player that comes along and supports that player. Like you look at that, what's his name, that one that left from the Essendon Football Club, it's now at GWS. Street.
I was going to say Jack's the package Stringer. I was about to say, yeah.
You look at Stringer. Essendon didn't want to give him an opportunity. GWS has picked him up, and he's proven that he's going to be playing finals football. So sometimes it's the change in the environment. I mean, we look at Houston. Who's come to Collingwood. He's fitted in quite comfortably. The one that Schultz, the one that Rocco hates with a passion. It's all about how do you take on a player and how do you. Now, I think Silvani, and if I'm not mistaken, over the last 2 years, he's been playing all over the shop. Now, if he came over to Collingwood, I'm not saying that we're going to make miracles, but I reckon we're going to be able to focus on what he wants and see whether what he wants is going to suit us. And I think that's what's important. And at the moment, Carlton being a big club, and you're noticing that you've got Silvani, you've got TDK, even Curnow came up as a topic of conversation. So, I think it's the fact that these players want to see something. But to answer your question, Scotty, I think it's very hard to predict. You can have a number one pick that does nothing for 4 or 5 years. And it's like that player, that young player that plays for the West Coast Eagles. Everybody seems to
so Harley Reid.
Everybody. Can I tell you something? I actually don't rate him. I don't rate him.
Manny, we can have that. We can talk about Harley Reid in the Harley Reid discussion, but we are talking about Jack Silvani. Now, another example that came to mind when you were listing off those names, which I think I haven't actually seen talked about too much, is another favoured son, young Joe Danaher. When he went from Essendon to Brisbane, I think there was an uproar, but it wasn't quite the cataclysmic eruption of the Essendon Football Club. They were fucked anyway. We want to talk about heart and soul and these familial connections to the club. They'll always be there. There'll always be that history of 3 Silvanis at the club. But if a Silvani's not going to be lifting the next next cup, you have to ask the hard questions.
Yeah, that's such a good game. What do you call it? Segue into what I was going to say, Scotty. All right.
Okay, I'll take
it. You've whatever you're doing. I can't speak now. You've done it to me.
I'm fried after working a full-time job for one of the first times, bro. I'm legit in a flow state.
No, I was going to say, you know what? I've actually forgotten what you said.
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, no. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say to Manny that if Silvani goes to Collingwood, he frees up Darcy Moore. It's a very good move.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good move. It frees up Darcy Moore to go and intercept, and you got a more than capable defender back there with the support that he needs to cover that. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, everyone assumes that he's the Howe's replacement, Bo.
Sorry?
That Jeremy Howe replacement?
Well, yeah. And I was gonna say that based on what you said before, Scotty, he goes there, he frees that up and so on and so forth. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. I've forgotten it again. Anyway, go on.
That's fine. That's fine.
That is wild.
Also, if you want to be paying allegedly upwards, anywhere between 600 and 800K a year for an intercept defender, go ahead. Seriously, anyone can be an intercept. Darcy Moore is an intercept defender. Come on, bro. But yeah, that was a great chat.
Captain. Respect our captain.
No,
I think he's a good player, to be honest.
Premiership player.
Premiership player, yes.
Premiership player. Where's Rocco? Is he in the background? Listen to it. Premiership player.
Hey, listen, Manny. This is some Joe Hendry shit going on right here. You say his name, he'll pop up. He'll appear.
Mate, I wanted to pop up, mate. This is what it's about. You mean he sits there and last week he was bagging him, saying that the way he plays, his injured players, this and that. Look, the reality is, whether you like it or not, he's a premiership player, and people need to respect him. He's our captain, and he's very well mannered, very intelligent when he speaks. I mean, look, he's a package for the club. He is a package for the club. What can I say?
Darcy Moore loves a package. Well,
he does.
Speaking of which, a man who knows a thing or two about the black and white. One of our new favourites here at Fourever Rivals. It's our good man Andreas from Black and White United. Glad to see you, buddy. Have you been listening along?
I've been listening to a fair bit on and on. Just quickly, I don't want to backtrack too much, but I'll just give my opinion.
No, please.
Parkway Drive would be absolutely unbelievable on grand final day. Saying that. I'm not saying that because the potential of us playing in there, I'm saying that because I'm a Parkway Drive fan and I've always envisioned them playing. And then when you said it, I was like, oh my God, finally someone has actually said the gospel truth. I mean, if you're a fan of, if you're a fan,
it's perfect for the AFL because guess what? The flipping NRL have already done it. So they can just pin that idea off them too.
Yeah, I just think when you said that, my heart just fucking burst with joy, and I'm just like, finally, someone
bro.
has actually said it.
Are you gonna go to
Oh,
Park Waves Festival?
no, I'm not that hardcore, but I do listen. And my Spotify is jamming with all that type of stuff.
No,
So
that's all good, bro. Now
yeah.
go on. So, what's your mail on Sauce, mate?
Look, it's probably just the generic stuff that's obviously come out, but look, there has been some murmurs in the past of someone like a Jack Silvani and him in particular, obviously leaving Carlton, and it's been known for a long time that he would obviously be in Collingwood's site because of our backline and how he would work in there. I personally myself think that like there's two options, and we're on the forever rivals, so I'll say it. There's two scenarios here that a Collingwood supporter loves. One is he's the perfect person to either play as a centre half back or a full back, and it allows Darcy Moore to do his thing. It might change Dan Houston's role. It might mean that Josh can go into the midfield a bit more. Who knows? The whole dynamic there changes. It becomes a lot more solid. He can play as a swingman. Probably don't need it as much. So you've got, obviously what you want in that defense. The other part is obviously taking him from Carlton. I mean, that's the romantic part of it all. But regardless of the name, and I wrote this down as soon as I sat down, I wrote this down. Every single Victorian club should be going for him, should be throwing the kitchen sink at him to try and get him across. Now, I'm not just saying this because Liam's here, and we'll get to the Richmond game in a minute, but Richmond, with Vlauston obviously coming towards the end of his career, they would be a perfect club to have him in their backline to sell up, because the only thing that Richmond are missing, right? Picture this. I saw it firsthand. They are a blank canvas with pots of gold, pots of like all there ready to go with these kids. They just need experienced players there to join the dots. I don't understand why it's just us going for him. Even a club like Melbourne, Jake Lever could be on the outer. Melbourne, North Melbourne, apparently Tom Morris was reporting that Jake Lever could be on the outer. Silvani's a perfect option for them to go next to Stephen May in their backline. But as a Collingwood supporter, he would complement our backline, regardless of the name, regardless of the club he's from. As a player, that's the type of player we get. And to be honest, he's the best unrestricted free agent on the market at the moment. The only one that I would potentially be taking a look at for Collingwood, if you're looking at someone in defence, is like a Starcevic from Brisbane, who hasn't signed yet. But the word is he could be off the West Coast. So you just, if that's the murmurs, whatever. But if we're going to be tabling an offer for Silvani, which we have at about the same as what Carlton has, then for me, it's a no-brainer. We have to go. Whether he comes or not is his own decision. But for me, and I was watching the Jumper Punch last night, and Mars said it perfectly. If there's an issue here, because it's not about money for him, it has to be something within the club. It has to be his happiness. It has to be, where he sees himself in the next 4 years. So as a Carlton supporter, I'll put the question out to you and to all of them. Do you genuinely think that you're going to be playing finals and potentially playing a premiership in the next 4 years? As a Collingwood supporter, we do. Whether it's this year, next year, or thing, that's just the reality of where we're at. And that's not me sounding cocky or anything. That's just, facts speak for themselves. So what would be the more realistic option for him in that sense? Now, if he was a Collingwood player, if it was a Collingwood player with the same sort of bloodline that runs through from our club like he does with yours, we'd be saying the same thing as you guys. Like, deep down, we don't want him to go, but we understand the concept of where he's at. Also, too, I find it a little bit strange that Carlton supporters are up in arms about it and don't go, this is that, when over the last couple of years, you've dropped him how many times? And that's just... That's just, I'm trying to see it from your point of view, but it's like, hang on a second. You've dropped him a number of times. Why you haven't? It's not like our players were resting and stuff like that. You guys have legitimately said, no, you're not playing. Then he comes back and he gets injured and he's the forgotten man. Now, all of a sudden, because it's Collingwood, everyone's up in arms about it. That's just how it comes across from our point of view. But regardless, I understand where you guys are coming from. I'm sort of playing devil's advocate in that sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one. I'd take him. I take him more for the fact that we need him, not regardless of his name and where he's come from his position he plays and what he can offer to our backline and the holes that we've got in our backline. I'd take him every day of the week.
Yeah, well, Silvani, his entire career, he was a part of our 2015 draft, which saw, Wiedering, Kerno, Mackay, and Cunningham in that. And he was never like front and center as far as that draft class. He was always in the back. But the kind of the issues really kind of started bubbling away as far as Jack goes behind the scenes, really after 23. Because he was part of that 9-game run that we had, and he didn't play finals. And he's one of those players that does not see eye to eye with Voss. Unfortunately, whether that's Voss's fault or just the club's fault in general, it's just what it is. He has a fairly abrasive personality, apparently, that people don't get along with. Personally, I don't give a fuck who you get. I don't care who you do or don't get along with at the club, as long as you're playing footy and that doesn't interfere with you playing footy. But we've been saying that this group needs to be broken up. I don't think Jack is one of those players that you'd consider in that, but it could potentially go another way as far as resetting the culture going forward, especially under a new regime. We don't necessarily know what that regime is going to look like yet. But like I said last week, I kind of want to see it just to see heads roll because I think it's funny. And if I was Collingwood, I would be taking the number 1 Guernsey off Lipinski and handing it straight to Jack and giving 2 of these to all of us. But I don't think you guys have the balls. And Jack, first game against Collingwood, and you're in that back line, mate. You better be prepared because there's going to be 50 to 60,000 Carlton supporters looking for your fudging head, and you're going to have to wear it, mate. As much as we're, being fair to you last couple of weeks, you got to be prepared for anything if you dare cross to that other side.
See, that's where I think you could be mistaken. I think most of the eyes aren't going to be necessarily on him. I think more of the eyes are going to be on the board. More of the eyes are going to be on your list management for not upping the contract and saying, no, you are a favourite son. Don't leave.
No, what he's allegedly been offered, it's fine. I would not pay another cent more. Bro, if you want to stay, take it, man. But if you want to take the same money somewhere else, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I do not want any player, doesn't matter who they are, to hold our club ransom.
Okay. No, I see your point, but I just think also... Do you think
he's worth... what? How much has Collingwood offered him?
I think it's in the mid-6s, exactly the same as Carlton, pretty much.
I'm not sure.
What do you think he's worth at 700K, 750?
I think if he didn't have any injuries over the last couple of years, especially this year, you're probably pushing close to the 7s, I reckon. But obviously Collingwood knows what Carlton's offering, and they've said he's the same contract. We feel as if you can play a role in our team, which is not necessarily a swingman. You won't have to go forward. You won't have to pinch hit in the ruck. This is your position in the defence. If you want it, we'll welcome you to the club. And Fly came out and said that pretty perfectly, that we're going to explore the unrestricted free agents. That's the position that we're in. We've got NGAs coming through. We're a little bit different to other clubs in that sense there. We've got the father-sons and stuff coming in, so we're set. But the only way is because we'll get the lower picks and we have to sacrifice picks for players and stuff. He's the perfect man, the experienced player that can come into the side. Now, I'm looking at the comments here and I'm looking at people saying, oh, they bag Silvani, this, that. I mean, seriously, come on. We're Collingwood. We bag every single player from every single team, no matter who they played for. I'm a realist. We were giving it to Tom Mitchell when he was at Hawthorn, when he got 50 possessions against Collingwood. I think it was the year that he won the Brownlow or whatever, because all he was doing was hand passing back. Is he a different player now? No. You see how many hand passes here on the weekend? No. But he wears our jumper, so we support him. I mean, that's just the realistic nature of the business, and every other club would be exactly the same regardless.
Yeah. So if we want to keep talking about how Carlton supporters were too divided and we would need to unite, maybe we need a villain. And who is the ultimate villain in the AFL? It's It's them, bro. It's them. And the entire Carlton-Collingwood rivalry started from that grand final in the early 1900s where you dogs pinched some of our best players.
1910, I believe it was. I've done my history, and there was a massive.
Oh yeah, the only time that you've beaten us in a grand final. That's right.
Yeah, I know. But we've still got 16, just like you. So instead of looking up at you, we can now look on the side and say, "How you going?" Because we're about to go like that.
Yeah, looking up. I think that's how Craig McCraig was described. Looking at Jack Silvani in that little luncheon of theirs, from the sound of it. But moving on, related to our little trade talk there, it seems that 2025 or going into 2026, this is the year of free agency because, fellas, this draft is cooked, man. And our draft specialist here, Liam, he's studied the draft and he's determined where the majority of the first round picks are going to fall and how it kind of cooks everybody else. Liam, what are your thoughts on this year's draft, how it's going to pan out? And is this why everybody's focused on free agency at the moment?
Absolutely, it makes a difference on free agency. Let's just say it. The draft this season is going to be compromised. From what I can understand, there is around 40% of the players expected to get drafted already have connections to clubs, and I think they did a top 30 something last week. 10 of those players are academy players, heading to either Gold Coast or Sydney or one of their academies. 10 out of the potential top 30 players already tied the teams. Father-son picks as well. You guys spoke about Cody Walker, or I think that was before we came on, but like he's nominated to come to Carlton. So yeah, the draft is compromised. Obviously, Richmond, we had a pretty good draft hand last year. We're lucky enough to have 2 pretty high first draft picks this year, but does it really mean anything anymore if we're going to have teams coming in and outbidding us and bidding us down to get the players that they want? It's unfair. This is why, it links perfectly well with free agency because teams now going to be trading to get up to get the player that they want. Carlton, perfect example. They'd be like, all right, maybe a player leaves, but if we're going to get some picks in that we need, some of those lower end picks to get the points to get someone like Walker in, who looks like he's an absolute star. Yeah, we may be, we have pick 2 and I think pick 4 at the minute. Yeah, does that bump us down? Does that bump us down a few picks? Because Carlton's like, oh, we're going to jump in, we're going to steal Cody Walker here. Or I think Zeke Euland's the top guy from Gold Coast Academy. I don't know when Gold Coast's first pick is. I think theirs is around pick 10, so it's still pretty high. But do they jump up? And then also, I know we got Jezza coming on later, so I've asked him about this already. But West Coast, they've just gone to the AFL today. They've asked for some draft help, some compensation. They've already got pick 1 in the draft, but they want more help.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Sorry, Liam, but the fact that you can just request assistance, I think, is cooked.
Not if you've got the number 1 pick. If you've got the number 1 pick, no. If you're someone like a North Melbourne, I can sort of understand that. I know they've done it in the past before, but like if you maybe get 1 pick in the top 10, another pick in the top 20 extra, but not if you've got pick 1. The AFL should turn around to them and say, no, you can do a deal with another club and you can split your number 1 pick with like a pick 3 and a pick 4 or something like that. So you could potentially get 2 guns in the top 10, but they shouldn't be, because they've got a lot of young kids as well. So, and it's only a matter of time before they tend to, there's only one way for them to go. And if they can keep Harley Reid, they're only going to go up. So eventually in time. So there's they shouldn't be asking for a compensation pick.
Yeah.
And even with the, sorry, Liam, you go.
I just want to say one thing about what he said. With North Melbourne, they actually traded their first round pick this year to us. So our pick,
yes, they did,
is from North Melbourne, but we get it. So if they were to go and ask for help, I wouldn't have too much sympathy. I'd be like, you guys made the decision last season to trade this pick.
They traded that for the last pick in the first round that nobody was going for. That was
why would they trade that? Why would they trade that to Richmond, considering that it was kind of blindly obvious? Also, why would Richmond trade that to North Melbourne? Yeah. Or however it went, when clearly that you're probably going to still be bottom 4. So it's going to be a higher pick with all the compromising that's happening. Another one too, that with the father-son side of things, we've got Mick McGuan's son, Tom, coming into the team. So, and he's touted to be, potentially in the top 15 picks. He's already now playing VFL for Collingwood. So it's just, like if another club was to turn around and bid for him within the top 10, well, Collingwood's got the points to match it, then all of a sudden Collingwood have got a top 10 pick in there, which means whoever else is in the first round is just going to get pushed back. So I can understand if it's 2 or 3 picks here and there, but this year's draft, there's a lot coming through, and we're partly to blame for that as well, 100%. But obviously every club's looking out for themselves. But you're going to have someone who's potentially got like a number 7, between 7 and 9 pick, and they're not going to get their pick till 13, 14, 15, the way that it's going. And when we traded for Houston last year, we obviously traded off pick 13, and that ended up being pick 15 or something like that after all the stuff went down. So, I mean, yeah, it's. I think what they personally should do is, and I haven't given it too much thought, but they should have a different category for NGAs and father sons. It should be completely different from the draft. They're nominate, this is your player, blah blah blah, and you have a separate sort of program to get them into, so the draft's not compromised, and you have more access to potentially delisted free agents within the draft period that you can use your actual pick on that. Yeah,
Andreas, I agree with that too. Or in a different reality where these academy and father-son picks, like these clubs allegedly always get the player they always wanted, no matter where they sit in the draft. None of them have the balls to actually bid on a father-son or an academy pick. Like Ashcroft clearly would have been number 1, and what he ended up going down to, it was about 4th or 5th.
Yeah, well, they did that with Nick. Gold Coast did that with Nick Dacos at pick number 4 or something, and then we ended up matching it with pick number 4 in the draft, which we had the potential to, I think, get him at number 1 if Sam Darcy didn't go. I think Sam Darcy went number 1. I can't remember, but yeah, if whoever went number 1, like we had the points to match it. So really, at the same time too, it's club management. I mean, we picked up Joel Cochran, who's playing in our 2s and has had a really good season, and he was playing centre half back for Sydney Swans reserves, and he was an NGA prospect with Sydney. And we just picked him because we thought he was good, and we thought Sydney was going to match the bid. And next thing you know, they didn't, and then we ended up getting a decent 2s player now, a young player for that we didn't think we were going to get. So it can work in your favour as well. But I don't see it this year working in anybody's favour besides the clubs that they're actually aligned with.
Yeah, lads.
Yeah, true.
Lads,
moving on.
I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will see everybody at 5 p.m. for the watch-along on Sunday.
Everyone, please make sure to watch that.
Bocek's watch-along last against Melbourne. I did watch that too, and it was good actually. Watching the fan content while you're watching the game and stuff like that. I synced it up perfectly. Yeah. That was really good. Well done, man. Well done.
It's great. He's the rising star of the Jumper Punch, and everybody, please remember, Remix Mania, 29th of August. Be there or be square. Oh, fuck. Or be there or be square. What have I done? Shit.
That's on.
Yeah. Bocek, we love you. See you Sunday.
See you later.
Yeah. Now, if we get the pumping that we deserve, that's going to be a freaky stream. Now, before we move on, I've missed a couple of super chats. Starting off, $2.99 from Spudicus, our favorite viewer from G-Bong. Love your hard work, boys. Great guests coming up. Ooh, all right. I'm going to drop the link in the chat soon. Unless there's you wouldn't have been referring to Black and White. She doesn't know who you are, bro.
That's all right. I'll just put my hand up. You can acknowledge your tribal chief.
Oz 8s, our little pay piggy. We love Oz 8s. $2. Scotty, Greg Champion has a classic footy song. Oz, we love you, bro. And I know we read this one out, but please, it's another shout out for Seba. $2.99. Slice and dice back to back with JDG. Now, fellas, before we cap off this week's news, Liam, you also wanted to have a little chat about the 666 rule after its stunning kind of how a 666 violation capped off that incredible game, St Kilda versus Melbourne on Sunday. Holy dooly moly, what a result. Now, 666, it's been I wouldn't say a disaster, but it's just been annoying ever since its introduction. I understand the point behind it, but whenever it's actually enforced, it could be catastrophic, or it could be like, what was that for, bro? Don't forget, in round 2, Hawthorn had 19 players on the ground and 2 666 violations, and Carlton didn't even get a 50-meter penalty out of it. But we'll forget about that.
That's the problem. That is the problem right there. Is that if it's a rule, it should always be the rule, not just when they feel like giving the rule, and not this stupid, we'll give you a warning for a rule that's been in for nearly 10 years. No,
that's what I wrote down. I wrote that down. I literally wrote that down.
That is the problem that I have with it. They can enforce this rule all the time, and they just pick and choose the moments. And now, unfortunately, for a team like Melbourne, and credit the Saints for coming back, but like they have lost the game because the AFL has finally decided, I don't know, actually we're going to pay this rule today. It's a joke. You either pay the rule or you don't.
So,
decide.
Can I just add one thing on that? Sorry to interrupt. They give out warnings, which we know, which I don't agree with, which is the reason why I wrote it down. But you will see most of the free kicks that are given for the 666 are in the back end of the second half. Okay? So they give the clubs enough warning. If they've had 2 or 3 or whatever it is, that's it, done, right? This is what I've noticed. And also, I only stopped playing local footy last year, and as soon as the rule came into the AFL, it was brought into local footy. I think it's the best rule that they've done because it sets up the ground perfectly, and then you can move around and stuff as you go. But the team should know, obviously, where your players are. But with that being said, I'm okay with one warning. Like, hey, listen, like, fix it up now. But then the second time, regardless of what stage of the game it's at, you have to pay the free kick. And I've noticed that most of the free kicks are paid in the second half from a 666 violation.
That's an interesting point. I haven't really looked at it that far, to be honest. But
yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
it could be only one warning in AFL, but I've just noticed when they've done that, when they've done the warning, you tend to see them paid in the second half afterwards. Like there might be just that lapse of concentration, and they do need to give it more time because how many interchanges do we see from the players after a goal's been kicked? Yeah. So let them do the interchange and then wait. Why are we waiting? Like, as in, why are we rushing? Channel 7, if they're broadcasting the game, are waiting for the ball up. So give it time for them to set. You know, back in the day at the G, when you were sitting in the Shane Warne stand, the old Southern stand, and you're looking at the umpire on the Olympic stand, Channel 7 had that little flashing light telling the umpire, we're back on we're back live on TV. You can now bounce the ball, right? So why couldn't you introduce a concept where after a goal's been kicked, right, you've got 30 seconds to do your interchange because that's how long the ad goes for. Bang, done.
Exactly. It makes sense.
Like it's just common sense, man.
Exactly.
It's such common sense. But I'm hoping with the whole Greg Swan thing coming in that things do change. I'm not saying that in particular, but there's just things that just get a bit more aligned within the game, within what fans want to see as well as what.
But doesn't the umpire have an earpiece? I mean, the umpire would have an earpiece where they should just say, we're back live. I mean, obviously that would be the easiest way to do it, rather than having lights flashing and all this and that.
Well, they had lights flashing for 30-something years, and to be honest, we never had a problem.
But we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Now they can't have an earpiece where they say, right, you know what? We're back in business. Let's bounce the fucking thing. You know what I mean? Let's move on with the game. That's the problem. 100%. You know?
No, I agree.
Makes sense.
And that 666 rule, we know why they've done it, and I agree with Andreas. It makes the game more spread out, and it's designed that way, and it moves better. But to be fair to St Kilda, I mean, Melbourne did give up such a huge lead. Yeah. So at the end, fair enough, they stuffed up. The umpires did what they did, and then of course, what's his name? He's a super player. That kid,
Nazaya the Messiah.
Yeah, what's his name, Manny?
I don't want to pronounce the name incorrectly, Scotty, as I will then be sort of thrown in the sin bin. So let's just say that the young lad who scored the goal, and potentially, I also think he's probably going to do really well in the Brownlow count this year, just quietly.
Nozaya Wanganeen Miller, Manny, and he is surely going to be a star going forward. And I think it's fair. Like, as much as we hate the 666 rule, that's not what lost Melbourne the game, really, in the end.
It was the pressure. It was the pressure that St Kilda put on, which caused the lack of concentration for their setup in the midfield or wherever it was. But I'll just say quickly before we move on to the games, I will just say quickly, the drive home from the MCG on Sunday for the Collingwood-Richmond game, I was listening to Triple M's call of the Melbourne-St Kilda game, and I had to pretty much park in the driveway and knock out of the car for the last minute because it was just unbelievable, man. And I could have just got inside and watched it, but I was just so intrigued in their call. Yeah, it was great.
I watched the Richmond Collingwood game, and then that was on afterwards, and I was like, you hear St Kilda versus Melbourne, and you couldn't imagine a more chopsticks in the eyes game. And I kind of had it on the background for the first 3 quarters, and then I thought, I'm going to go visit my mummy so she can make me dinner tonight. And they were 46 points down at the start of the 4th, so I thought, that's enough. Go around, talk shit with mum. She makes me dinner, and then I look at my phone, 8 seconds left. That's when I tuned back in, and I was like, what the hell? And there's just that last 8 seconds, I was screaming in my parents' kitchen, but I went back and watched that quarter. It was incredible.
I'll just put this out there. For you, and we can talk about this at the end of the season once the grand final's done, once the season's finished. So don't answer it, but just think about it. Imagine there was a wild card round in the finals, and that game was potentially for a team to reach that 10th spot where they're sitting at the moment. They could still technically finish. Imagine that atmosphere, right? Almost every single game when lower teams play each other, if it's congested. And for that reason, I am a traditionalist, but for that reason, for that game in particular, I am all for the wild card round. If we're going to get stuff like that, like a relegation battle in the Premier League, it's going to have the same feel for it. I just think if we're going to see that, bring it in 100%.
All it takes is for the greatest comeback in history for anyone to care about a St Kilda game. But we'll definitely follow up that conversation in the future with you, Andreas. Even just from what I've seen with Greg Swan, I mean, I think the first thing that's come out about him is that he was like, we'll change things to a top 10 rather than a top 8. So just saying we'll do the wild card without saying wild card because everyone hates it. Now, fellas, that was a terrific conversation. Bravo to all 3 of you. Bravo to the chat. We've loved your contribution. But fellas, there were some games this weekend, and why don't we kick it off because our favorite friend, Black and White, is here. We had not just any game, a rivalry game.
A rival game.
Richmond v. Collingwood. Richmond, 8 goals, 9, 57 to 13, 15, 93. Good first 2 quarters. I was loving it. And then, then I started hating life shortly and very quickly after that. Now, Liam, because you've got a bit of a 2v1 going here, I'll let you start. And then, maybe we'll let Andreas jump in after that, unless Manny, when he's done with his McFlurry that he's eating on the show,
I'm not jealous of that.
Liam, take the wheel.
I enjoy the sweet things in life, and one of them is my my chocolate sundae, Scotty. And I'll be sweating my palate while I'm listening to poor Liam and his average team called the Tigers. Proceed, sir. Proceed.
Proceed, Liam. Proceed, please.
Thanks for that glowing warm up. What happened was kind of what realistically we knew was going to happen. I hate to say it, but I got to give credit to Collingwood. Particularly after halftime, they're just a classy team. They're a really good team. I know we bag him out a lot on the show, Nick Dacos, but he kicked our butt, man. I think for the first 3 quarters, he had at least 10 touches and a goal in each quarter. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was almost responsible for several holes in my living room wall, but give the kid credit when he deserves it.
Yeah, as much as it's hard to watch, I was like, it's a bit of both. I was kind of like, fuck, why aren't we stopping? But then I was kind of like, he actually is a bit of a gun for as much as we bag him. But
let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Liam. Let's just focus on the Richmond Tigers for now, shall we?
The biggest thing for us that was bad to start the game was a late out. Tim Taranto, my boy, he'd probably been our best player in those 2 wins we had the weeks before. Named as a late out, that hurts. It did mean your boy Jasper Alger got into the team, which is cool. Only came on as the sub. Look, we started all right, actually. We had a pretty good effort. I still think the way we're transitioning the ball from back to forward was good. I think around the contest, we were good without being great. Again, I think they had more class than us in those areas. Nick Loston down back again. He seriously stopped a lot for us. He's an absolute star. He really is. He was our star player. But we took some chances going forward. I got to pump up Steely Green, one of the coolest names in the AFL. I thought coming back after being dropped, he was good. He kicked a couple important goals. I thought Morris was very good. Again, he's definitely earning his spot in our best 22 from now on with his tackling and his pressure. He is pretty. I would like to see him get more opportunities around goal. Same with someone like Jonty Fall. I think I've said it a million times. He's looking good. He just can't score. There was a lot of positives. Like I said, how we moved the ball was good. The intent was good. I think just at times, just some mental lapses. We gave up a lot of space. I spoke about someone like Dacos, but when you give those players that space to work into, that was the problem. We just had those defensive lapses where we allowed Collingwood to move and get their run and hit their targets, and that's when they're at their best. So from that part, I was pretty disappointed. But overall, how we attacked, how we took the game on, it was good. We took it up to one of the top teams, to the top team in the league in a game.
Can I just say before Andreas gets into the game, can I just say that as a Collingwood fan and supporter, the fact that we lost the last 2 games, regardless of whether it was a point or a goal difference, we lost those 2 games. We came in and played Richmond, right? Now, I mean, there was no way unless, something, completely miraculous had happened. But having said all that, the fact that Richmond had 43 inside 50s, for me, at the moment, is a big, big problem for the Collingwood Football Club. This is something we need to sort of go back to the drawing board and have a look at, because at the moment, the last 3 games, that's been a real concern for us. But Andreas, you can go with that, bud.
Actually, just quickly, I'll expand on that, Manny, because it should be concerning, considering you're going up against the likes of Hawthorn and Adelaide in the next fortnight. Is that something that you feel that you need to
Brisbane. We've got Brisbane.
Brisbane as well.
Brisbane,
Hawthorn,
Adelaide.
It's a rough month, fellas, but it's about time.
No, it's preparation for September. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is that a serious concern of yours, Andreas, at all, or was it a bit more?
No, we're not going to win. We're not going to win. We're not going to win every single one of those games coming up. We're not going to win.
No,
I think
but
we'll
like you're playing against
3
Richmond, and they have almost 50 inside 50s. Was that just more of a context of the game, or does that show something?
There was different. I'm not going to sit here and say, it was a major concern, considering that we had Jeremy Howe out and Billy Frampton out in our defence. But then it's probably a bit more of a concern in the midfield more than anything for allowing the ball to get down there, as opposed to the defence. Now, I will say, and I've thought about this today, and I really need to say to Liam, I think Richmond are going to make the finals in by 2028. I reckon you guys will be there in the finals. You potentially
could. Can I make a confession? I reckon it'll be sooner than that.
I've put 2020. I wrote down 2028 because I do think that's probably the year. Because what happens with sides that have, got a lot of kids and a lack of experience of like 100 gamers and stuff like that continues, because Richmond obviously lost a lot of their star power all at once, right? So if you think about it in that sense, once these players get 50 plus games into them, then you're going to start seeing some real pressure being put on other players, experienced players. But with that being said, you've still got Taranto, you've still got Hopper, you've still got Lynch that's playing in there. Who knows how long Lawson's got? He's in All-Australian form. Like, I'm not a Richmond sympathiser or anything, but I was watching when I was there this game, and I was watching, and I was in a perfect spot on the wing, level 2, Shane Warne stand, looking directly at it, and I looked at the way that Richmond were going about it, and you could just see the only thing that they were missing was just some older heads to just bring it all together and just to be a bit more composed when the pressure was coming. Now, in the third quarter, second quarter, we did what we needed to do. We obviously pulled away. We showed our experience. We weren't going to lose this game, and I'm not trying to sound cocky. I just think that's just the way that it panned out or anything. But I was so impressed with the way that Richmond played that game. And I will go as further to say that if you look at the sides in the bottom half or the bottom 10 of the ladder right now, if you look at North Melbourne, even Carlton, you look at to an extent St Kilda before their result against Melbourne, maybe, and other clubs down there. Richmond trajectory is way past these other clubs already. And I do think by 2028, because you got those young players, you might, go all right again next season. You might have a bit of a lull year trying to adapt to, bring players in, whatever, you'll have injuries and stuff, and then by 2028 you'll catapult straight up, and I think you're way past a lot of other teams already in that. But with that being said, also just a couple of points I wanted to make, or I did make those points, but just one major point that I think Collingwood need to improve on is just the overuse of the hand passes. I know it was wet weather football, it was pretty crap, it bucketed down throughout the game, but I just felt like we overused the handball from going from defensive transition all the way to the top half of the centre square. Just kick it. It's time to kick it. Tom Mitchell doing too many hand passes back, still side bottom. Even Dacos was hand pass. I felt like we were looking for Nick Dacos a little bit too much, considering that Pendlebury wasn't there as well. And I think that was a bit of a problem, because we were getting tackled. Josh got tackled a few times. Schultz got tackled. It was time. Wet weather footy, you need to put it into the forward 50, because if it goes over the pack and it's in front of goals, it's going to skid. It's simple maths, boys. So I think we just need to stop overusing the handball and be a little bit more direct, very similar like we were against Carlton, where our forward 50 entry was the best I've ever seen it. I mean, Lipinski to Elliott, Howe to Crisp and stuff. It was
fair,
just
Andreas. Nearly every team have it the best they've ever seen it when they play Carlton.
Yeah, but you've still got to do it regardless. You know what I mean? And against a team like Richmond, I thought we'd do it. But to be honest, they put a lot of pressure on us too. So I think that was our biggest fault, was just we tend to overkill a little bit. And then when we needed to do what we needed to do, we did it, but we should have done it earlier. But with that being said, I think a 36 I tipped us by 35 on my channel. You can rewind that. But I think the 36 points that we won by was a fitting result realistically throughout the game. We missed a couple of chances, which would have made it a little bit unflattering for Richmond if we hadn't have missed a couple of easy shots. But at the same time, I think it was a fair result all round. But if I was a Richmond supporter, I walked away with more optimism for Richmond than I did for Collingwood. But with that being said, I do think next week or this week against Brisbane, with the ins that we've got, I think for us, our final starts now, and I think you're going to see a different Collingwood come out in the next few weeks. I don't think we're going to win every game going into the finals. I think we'll win 3 of the 4. I think we'll beat Brisbane at home. I think we'll beat Hawthorn. And I'm not sure about Adelaide away. We've got a really good record against Adelaide and at the Adelaide Oval. I just think they're a little bit too hot at the moment. And I'm hoping they've peaked a little bit earlier before the final starts. So,
well, Manny, continue on to that. If your flag pies finish, top 4 rather than top 2 when they've been sitting pretty, as you'd say, all year, do you see that as potentially as a disappointment, not necessarily a failure? Or if you even manage to slip out to 5th after the season you've had, how would that sit with you?
To see us slip out of the 4, I find it hard to see it.
or even just finish fourth? Finish fourth.
Well, look. At the end of the day, it's we can speculate, but at the moment we're sitting on top, and we've not sort of. If we go back from 2023, we were I think from memory, we were in a lot worse position with the way our team was performing and the way our players and the injuries and the way things were being managed. I think this year at the moment we're managing things a lot better. I think it's experience from 23 that's changed things for this year. And I've actually I don't think we're gonna go anything less than second. So
I'm going to agree with that. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Realistically, because you got other sides too. If you look at the fixture, you got other sides that are around the same mark in the top 4, top 5 that need to play against each other and stuff too. So they're taking points off each other there. I mean, Hawthorn still needs to play against Adelaide, and I did my ladder predictor, and I know that's not much to go off, but you could potentially have Hawthorn or Brisbane missing the top 8. I don't think Brisbane will miss the top 8, but I do think Hawthorn are in a little bit of strife with the fixture they've got. And it's also going to be extremely interesting, and I don't think it's going to happen. But keep in mind too, Geelong have a piss easy run towards the thing. It's actually for a side that was very unlucky and probably should have won the flag last year. For a side like that to receive the fixture that they did, and everybody can comment on Collingwood and their away game travels and their fixture, blah, blah, blah. We played the finals teams from last year all at the start of the season, and we've done exactly the same travelling as all the other Victorian clubs, right, or the Melbourne-based clubs. The fixture that Geelong got this last 4 weeks especially, I can't believe it. And if they do drop one game, because they're just flat track bullies right now doing what they're doing to sides, if they happen to drop one game, the final 4, the top 4 completely opens up to the point where the team who's 8th, if they go on a hot run, could potentially sneak 4th spot. So it's so tight. But in Collingwood, I do agree with Manny, and in regards to Collingwood's finishing, we just need a top 2 spot, get the home qualifying final. That's probably one of the hardest finals to play, the qualifying. If we're at home with that one there, we're in a good spot. So we have to pretty much drop 3 of the 4 to not finish it with the other teams playing against each other.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Just to cap off the rival game, Liam. Now, did Mr. VIP Manny Magpie up there, did he lend you the keys to his VIP box, or did he make you sit out in the rain?
Yeah, I didn't get invited up, unfortunately. Not very nice. Still, doesn't matter. It's always good to watch your team. So even if it's not in the luscious boxes, eating salmon and all that. I just want to say thanks to Andreas for pumping us up. He's pumped us up more than I have. But
you guys are looking really promising, man. Like it
reminds me of Hawthorn, bro, when they were just that little bit away, and it's only their first, not even 6 months of their proper rebuild.
But just think about this too. They were missing Lynch, they were missing Taranto, and they were missing Layla. Now you put one of the best young kids in that side. You put a really experienced midfielder in there, and you put a player that plays particularly well against Collingwood. Let's face it, Lynch turns into fucking the reincarnation of Wayne Carey when he plays against us, right? I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he kicked 7 against us, and we had basically a very similar defense to what we've got now. So you put those 3 in the side, could have been a different result. These guys, and it's not even just their coaching, it's the personnel they've got. They're going to be a very good side in a couple of years. So I'll call it as I see it. And I think they're in a very good trajectory wise. They'll have a lapse, 1 or 2 seasons here and there, but they'll be up there before you know it too. But that's my take on it. So
that just reminded me, actually, speaking about Richmond's forward line, now that Bolter is free, he's available. I believe that his curfew's expired. Are you happy to keep him forward, or now that he's more available, do you swing him down back?
I don't like him up forward. I'd play him down back.
Yeah. He rushed the ball when he should have held on to it, and held on to it when he should have rushed it. That was the first thing I noticed. But
he fits now because, as we've said, Tom Lynch is out, so we do need a senior player down there. But he's no good key forward. He doesn't understand how to play that role well. doesn't make good leading patterns, and he's not really a great kick at goal. He's a great kick coming out of the back line where he should be playing. But no, I just wanted to say just the one stat that I found talking about us building to the futures. I don't know how they calculate these stats, but apparently over the last 6 weeks, we've been the number one team for transition from back half to forward half football. To me, what that says is kind of echoing what Andreas has been saying is that shows we have a footy identity. We have a game plan of how we want to play it. And that shows that the potential to grow and keep building on this game style is fantastic. So, yeah, maybe we get another couple guns in the draft this year. Maybe I would like to see us go out and grab a couple more experienced heads. Maybe a J Sauce could be a good pickup for us. I do think.
I heard Chera.
I do think he could be an all right addition to our team if that happens. But yeah, obviously, yeah, in terms of the game, what happened. We lost to the best team in the competition. That's okay. But as far as the performance and the effort that we gave and the hope that it gives to us going for the future, I'm happy with that result. I'll take that loss. No problems.
Yeah, no. Great chat, fellas. And, well, like, it doesn't it just like fucking, I mean, pardon me, it just everyone's saying the exact same thing about Richmond because it's so obvious. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me because it makes me feel 100 times worse than my own club.
If I'm getting all the rivals to jump in and saying how good we are, must be true.
Hey, but the better you perform, we've been giving you a lot of leeway this year, Liam. So be prepared for next season. If you guys get better, the heat turns up. Now, while we've got you here, Mr. Black and White, you fellas do have a game this weekend. It's Brisbane, correct?
Yes, on Saturday night. Yeah.
Grand final rematch. Now, you fellas did give them the 1-2 earlier in the year on their home deck. Do you think you can pull it off again in Melbourne, or is it a completely different Brisbane we're coming up against?
No, we got this one. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there won't be too many 70-meter penalties given away in this game either. So
no, but the biggest thing, and that every time we play against Brisbane, Kitty Coleman has a field day against us. He's really damaging. He's unpredictable, even with Lohman as well. And they're both out. And I think that's two really important cogs in the chain for Brisbane. They're unpredictable players that always give us trouble. And with the ins that we've got, I think that we're going to be quite switched on and you're going to see a different Collingwood, but who knows? I mean, if it was at the Gabba, I'd probably be a little bit more. I mean, we did smash them by 50 points on Easter Thursday. And, you know, there wasn't really too many players out for either side then. So I do think that we'll get over the Brisbane game. Hawthorn, same thing. Will Day worries me back at Hawthorn for every club that plays against them. To be honest, the guy's a freak. But that also,
I can tell you about that. But
also, I do think Adelaide is the one to watch at the moment. I just think at home, they're going to be a bit strong. But Brisbane at the G, I'm tipping the Pies by 26 points.
Ooh, now Manny, do you agree? Who are your ins this week, and how are they going to affect your style of play?
Well, I think at the moment there's talk about Bobby being back. So
Bobby, what has he paid his debts, or has he? Has
Bobby
he fixed things with the Misto, or?
It'd be interesting to see whether DeGoey has a game this week. Andreas, what's your thoughts on that?
I think Hill and Pendlebury are the only confirmed two that will probably that will 100% play. Okay. I think we're still waiting on Frampton to see how he goes. Throughout training, he's still got to do the captain's run and stuff like that. And I think Jordan DeGoey is 50-50, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does play. Take this to the bank. Geordie will play as a sub if he plays. If he doesn't play, they'll try and get maybe 80%, 85% game time in the twos against Williamstown on the weekend and then bring him in for the Hawthorn game. And I'll say that because we only have a 5-day turnaround against Hawthorn. So from the Sunday to the Thursday night. So I think they'll try and save as much legs as possible for that, but without compromising the Brisbane game. So a 5-day turnaround isn't ideal, but at the same time, this time of the season, if you want to be the best, you got to be the best. So, yeah.
Oh no, fair enough. Thank you very much for the little preview. I hope it goes completely the opposite, but it should be a good game.
That's
I have to ask Manny about one player first. Where was the big superstar Mason Cox this week?
Oh yes, Liam does not forget.
Can I just say that a lot of people tend to bag Cox, but I actually like it when Mason's in there because his height is a draw card. He draws a number of players, and all you need him is in certain positions where he can actually mark a couple of times the ball, and he can actually create small little things for the Magpies. And at the end of the day, he's got the height, and he always loves playing against the Tigers. I actually thought he was going to play, but he didn't end up playing. Obviously, there was an injury there. Or was that a coach's decision, Andreas?
I saw the tweet on Thursday, and I knew he was getting dropped straight away.
Yeah, I think. Look, I like it when he plays, even if he has a bad game, because it's the relief that it gives Darcy Cameron in the ruck, and it means McStay can stay up forward, and that structure seems to work. And when Cox plays, we barely lose. I think it's like 85% of games we win when Mason Cox does play. So that's a stat there for you. But I do think that if Darcy Cameron, I have to head off now, but just quickly, if Darcy Cameron does go to West Coast and ask for a trade, I think they keep Mason Cox for one more season because we're going to go after Reeves for Hawthorn, and we're going to need a backup with Cox, just the senior heads there, and that'll be Cox's last season. If Darcy Cameron does go, if Darcy Cameron stays, Cox will get delisted. So yeah.
85% there, Liam. 85%.
That's a good start.
You can take that to the bank, my friend. You can take that to the bank.
It was 85%, I do believe, around the time he played Gold Coast. So he did play against Gold Coast. So if it's 84.3, or some shit like that, now it's going to go to 82, then I stand corrected. But that was the stat a couple of weeks ago.
Even over 80%, that's an A.
That's it. Thank you guys heaps for the people in the chat who do follow my channel. I just want to say thanks. I hit over 1,000 subscribers last week, so much appreciated.
Hey.
Much appreciated.
Congratulations! All right,
much appreciated to
Thank you. Seriously,
thanks,
congratulations, Andreas. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a massive milestone, and you make great content, mate. And I watch everything that I can, and you're a superstar, mate. And thank you for your contributions to our channel.
Appreciate it, boys. Appreciate it, guys. Good luck this week. Cheers,
Andreas.
Have a good one, bro. Love you.
See ya.
Don't we love Mr. Black and White? Now, while we get the next game up, I believe we have another guest that wants to come on and have a chinwag with us. I'll pay attention to see when he pops up. But we're going back in time. Thursday night, we did have our own Marco's game. Essendon v Footscray, 7-8-50 to 22-11, 143. How many of us watched the first quarter of this game and then turned over to the Sydney game?
Yeah. That was a shocker.
This game was on.
That was a shocker.
Yeah. Look, we wish that our favourite son, Marco, was here tonight. Mark, we know you're watching. We love you, mate. There's whispers. All I'm saying is everyone be on Marco watch. Our other favourite son could be returning, but when he's ready, mate, we love you, bro. Make sure to give all your love to Mark in the chat because honestly, mate, it's not the same without you. I probably need you at Essendon, to be honest, mate, because it's looking it's looking grim, fellas. It's looking grim. As I've got to be honest. I only watched the first quarter. I saw our Carlton boy McMahon kick 1 or 2 goals, and then I flipped over to a better game. But did anyone else?
Yeah, I think it's sad when you see the big clubs. You're talking about Carlton, you're talking about Richmond, and you're talking about the Bombers. And this year has been, it's been a pretty bad year for you three. And it's, and when you look at it, it's, you need these 4 big clubs to be peaking in order to makes footy becomes more alive in Melbourne. At the moment it's just tough times for you guys, and to see the result like that, towards the the business end of the season. I know it means nothing for the Bombers, but geez, the Bulldogs did so well in that game, and they're just outside the 8, the 9. I reckon. I still believe that they're going to make it. They're sort of still, they're going to make it. I think the Suns are going to. I'm going to still stick there with my my prediction 6 weeks ago. I reckon the Suns will not make it.
Ooh,
the Suns will not make it.
And we'll hold you to that, Manny, because I think Footscray, they're a game out of the 8 out of the moment. If they lose this weekend, it's kind of done, really. Isn't that the 8 basically locked in?
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Giants tomorrow night against the Giants.
It's
of
a
course.
huge
That's
game.
going to be a ripper game. Holy shit.
I might
Holy moly. Play at Marvel.
One of my best mates has come back from interstate. He's a massive Doggies fan. He invited me to come to that game, but I can't. That's going to be a great watch. Oh, I'm talking about modern day rivalries too, but we should be talking about the Dons. But yeah, look, I know everyone kind of takes the piss when they're looking at Essendon games now, and like if you're kind of a top 8 chance, they're saying, "Oh, this has to be 100 points minimum." And I know the Bulldogs got close, but when you look at a game like this, is it really just how many points you score? Like, how do you really assess how well your team is going against a team like Essendon, where they're playing plumbers, bro? They're not playing footballers. How do you assess whether you actually had a good game against Essendon? Even Norton, the bag that he kicked, more than half of them were from like free kicks. They weren't necessarily great set shots. Like, do I make any sense at all then, or am I just?
You're right.
You're sort of drifting. You sounded a bit like me. Many years ago when I started getting involved with the show there. But yeah, look, I know where you're coming from, Scotty.
Look, Manny, you're free to take the wheel anytime that you want. I'll let you review this game, Manny. If, as the experienced head, you've been doing this show for almost 3 years. Why don't you take over the rest of the review, Manny?
No, nothing like that, Scotty. But no, you're right. I think at the moment it's, in the last couple of years, it's fair to say the Bombers have got no direction whatsoever. There is no direction there at all. And this is a club at the moment that is struggling tough. And if it's one club that you would think you would sit there and say, maybe the next 3-4 years, potentially, they'd be up there playing finals football. I mean, Andreas was talking about Richmond playing finals football in 2028. So, even Richmond is starting to look better, who's lost, they've lost, every single superstar in their team. So, yes, at the moment, there's no direction there. And the Doggies, at the moment, they're doing really, really well, and I think they're potentially going to be playing finals football. I still believe it. I reckon they're going to play finals football. I really do.
Yeah, I feel like if they make it, they're just going to be straight in, straight out, unfortunately. I had faith in the Doggies at the start of the year. You could see the signs there at the start of the year, but they really kind of let me down. And I mean, everybody says it. They just can't perform against, the top 8 side. And that's kind of why they're just sitting like at 9th, just out there. Their defensive stocks have a lot to answer for. And I mean, yeah, they're kind of on the edge, I feel. But on their day, I'm sure they could. I mean, I keep saying that. On their day, they could take anyone, but they haven't exactly proven that. But, good luck to Essendon. Better luck next year, I suppose. Now, before we get a bit miserable here, why don't we have a little laugh? Our good mate, Peter V. Bluebagger with the goods. I'm sorry, mate, I forgot, but he has provided us with some more absolute classics here, and they get better and better by the week. Manny, what are we looking at here?
Well, that little superstar called Nicholas Dacos. It's in the genetics, mate. He's taken after his great his father, great champion for the Magpies, Peter Dacos. But absolutely fantastic performance. I think he ended up with 43 disposals.
43, yes, and
Disposals. So he's looking really, really good at the moment. And look, I'm sorry to say, look, they've put a picture of poor Liam. What am I doing? Am I stepping on you there, Liam? That's not.
By the
nice.
way, Peter V, I think you need to run this through the system a second time. That is the most off representation of the Collingwood supporters that I've seen at any game. I think we need to at least get the black marker out on some of these smiles here.
No. We've managed to provide
free
dental service for all our Magpie supporters, so that's fantastic. But it's tough times at the moment for everybody else. And look at this poor bastard, 93-point carnage at Marvel. Yeah, the doggies were just ripping them apart. They were ripping them apart. I don't know who that player is. That looks like is that their superstar? What's his name?
The ferret.
The ferret.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Smash a like, fellas. And I see this little. I don't mind. Honestly, it's not the most flattering, but I don't mind this little rendition of these Scotty Tompkins here. I will say going forward, Peter, you're the only one that gets like a pass for this. But to anyone else, I revoke the rights of my visage to be used in any AI representation. I feel like it steals a part of my soul. You know, like how other fellas feel about stuff like that. I feel the same thing. I don't know if you've ever looked at like a very like hyper realistic like AI render of yourself, but it just looks off and it makes you feel it makes you look strange.
Yeah.
And it takes apart, it digitizes like one little pixel of your soul, and you don't want to be looking at too much of that stuff. But Peter V Blue Bagger's stuff is on top. Look at Manny there. Look at Manny.
Yeah. I've got wings.
You've even got a tail, Manny.
Yeah. I've got a tail. I've got wings. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
Once again, thank you very much to our other favorite son, Peter V. We love you, bro. You're sick, and we love you. Now, on to our final game. The mighty 13-7, 87 to 9-7, 61. If I catch any of you saying this was only a 24-goal loss, I'm coming for you. Even though I predicted
24 point.
Yeah.
Even though I predicted this would be a 4-goal loss, trust me, this was a 40-goal loss. What another pathetic performance to add to our lexicon. I know we're all banging on about this is Doherty's retirement, Wiedering's 200th, but seriously, is this not a typical milestone game for Carlton? When's the last time, like every time we've retired a great, we just bend over and just cop it because that's what we've been doing like for the last 20 years. And what Jacob Wiedering's 200 games of misery, bro. And not all of you are culpable for it, except for Wiedering probably. But nah, what an insipid game. I'm so like, I know it's a repeating record here at Carlton week by week. And we kind of, even if we don't actually talk about the game itself, we're always talking about the same things. And what really pissed me off about this one is that, and it's been said before, it's just a replay of our previous game in round 2 against Hawthorn, bro. They just had our wave fist. They just handballed it over our players' heads. Battle just easily managed Curnow. And they really just took, for 3 quarters, they just take the piss. They do what they need to do in the first quarter and then just chill the fuck. They just chill out after that. I'm just sick and tired of this, honestly. And the fact that they keep panning the camera over the boss, who should be here, doing one of these, doing a Brad Scott at the minimum. But no,
absolutely.
This is back here. He's just chilling. He's not even doing his fucking. He's not even doing his bleeding job.
Yeah, smashed it.
Yeah.
Look,
I don't know how the other 21 other 21 players on that field could look either Doherty or Wiedering in the eyes and say that they gave it their all.
No.
I think there was a little bit of a highlight, and I think it was exciting. I mean, for me, even as a Collingwood supporter and who dislikes Carlton, but it was really, really nice to see when Doherty marked and he scored that goal. And it was you know what, it was just nice to see that he was when he bowed to the crowd, and truly a true gentleman of the sport. And look, it would have been nice if it was a closer game, but I think it just goes back to a couple of weeks ago with what Rocco said. It's about what teams have at the moment and what teams don't have at the moment. And at the moment, Hawthorn is looking at playing finals football. Yeah. So this is where they're sort of, lifting the ante. So for Carlton at the moment, it's good to say, back to the drawing board, 2026, here we come. So, but it would have been nice just to see just a little bit of something tough to go in there hard. That after that first quarter,
when's the last time we've ever showed any toughness or any spirit, any fight? It's good to know that you really paid attention to that goal, Matty, because he kind of just grubbed it off the ground about 3 meters in front, and then did his bow. He did have a set shot just after that he missed, which would have been great. Yeah. But I want to bring up another very special guest, a man that I've been wanting to talk to the last couple of weeks because I missed the chance. It's the one and only Mr. Jezza himself. I salute a fantastic addition to this show, I feel. If anybody doesn't know, Jezza, old man of Liam right there. And if you can't tell, he goes for the Meth Coke Eagles. Now, Jezza, while we wrap up this game, did you watch it? And was there anything that kind of insulted you or any shit talking you want to do against my bum club?
Oh, your club? Well, geez. The only thing worse than your club was my club, but at least we're having a go.
Yeah, well, you've got flags, bro.
Yeah, we have, but a long time ago as well. I knew 2018. Who did we beat in 2018? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Manny, could you remind us? Yeah,
I can't remember.
Well, let's just say that it wasn't that long ago, Jezza, when you guys stole it from us. But good luck to you. History is history, and that's what it is. But it's good to see you back, Jezza. I know it took you a week to recover from last week's demolition by the Tigers. And, of course, the Tigers were getting quietly very, very cocky and confident. But it was good to see that Collingwood spanked them back down to reality. But what are your thoughts at the moment now, Jezza, in regards to potentially, you could say that the teams that are there now in the 8, that's pretty much set up. Anything that's outside the 8, apart from the Bulldogs. But what's your opinion on the matter?
Yeah, well, to translate that, Jezza, did you feel that Hawthorn gave a top 8 performance or a top 4 performance there, or do they still have a bit to prove?
Yeah, you're talking about the Freo game when they played over here against Fremantle, because I went and watched that game. And I thought
I was trying to just wrap up the Carlton Hawthorn game, and then we can.
Okay, sorry, the Carlton Hawthorn game. Yeah. No, I don't see Hawthorn as a top 4 team. To be honest, to be honest with you, I think the top 4 is pretty settled at the moment. The quiet achiever in there is Geelong. I know Manny is worried about them, but they get it done in September sometimes, and the hideaway down there in Geelong and this southeast coast of Melbourne and stuff like that, and they just get it done. Jezza Cameron kicking 11 goals, 1 on his own.
I'm sorry, Jezza. I've got to do my duty here, but there's only one Jezza.
Oh, it is true.
And it's not you. It's definitely not you, but...
No, you're true. Yeah.
Yes. But Jeremy Cameron, yes, he can turn it on for them.
Yeah, so, no, I don't see Hawthorn as a top 4 team. Yeah. Not at the moment. No, I think the top 4 is set. I think the 8 is set, but I agree with Manny. I think the Bulldogs could sneak in because they are a pretty good team. I still feel the Gold Coast will play. I think I had the Giants at the start of the year as the premiers. They have been disappointed for me this year, and now their captain, because he's an idiot and does stupid things, he's out of a really important game for this.
All right. Let's all right, fuck it. Pardon me, but let's forget about Carlton, because I thought about maybe bringing this up as a topic, and I thought maybe you would have an opinion on this. But Toby Green's antics, has he not been the man of discussion over the weekend? Jezza, I know you just started on it, but what's your thoughts on the man, and would you have him at West Coast?
Look, at his best, he's one of the best players in the league. No question there. He's disciplined, and as a captain of a club, what he did in that game the other night is unacceptable. It's not a football act. It's not tough. It's not anything. A player lying on the ground, another player on top, and he comes in and just elbows him in the back of the head. What is that? That's not tough. That's just stupidity. And it's going to cost his team, because now he's out this weekend, as I said, in a really important game. They got two other players. Josh Kelly's also out in the middle. You know, it's a really stupid time of the year to be doing stuff like that. He needs to be better than that. He needs to be way better than that. So would we have him in West Coast? If we could control him, we would. Yeah, like, he's a good player, but he has an attitude problem at times. He always had. When he was chosen as the All-Australian captain a few years ago, I thought,
yep.
really, really surprised me.
Mate, when that was, because that was Patrick Cripps's year.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, Liam, you might have some strong opinions on this too. Are you game to say a bit more harsher things about Tobes, or do you kind of fall in line with the old man here?
Yeah, he knows I agree with him on this stuff. Yeah, look, he's a flog, man. Why is, I don't know why he needs to do these stupid things. Like seriously, you're meant to be the captain of the club in a game that you need to win, and you're off doing stupid, dumb shit like that. It's so. And then what's he saying at halftime?
It's Tom Papley. He's a bit overweight.
Yeah, calling him fat. Like, seriously, man.
And you know, well, that was actually because Papley. Yeah, Papley, another one that people are opinionated on, because he's a little runt bogan from Bunyip, but he was calling Stringer overweight, referring to his skin fold clause in his contract, and that had gotten to the bench. And I believe that's what Toby was referring to, but like, who cares? Seriously. It's more that cheap hit on Heaney. And was it Toby or Tom Green that donkey kicked that bloke in the balls?
I thought it was Tom, was it?
Yeah. One of the Greens anyway. They're both guilty. But Manny, you're a bit of a party man yourself. We know you like to get out on a Saturday night. It's also been brought up this week, a few revelations about that GWS Mad Monday party that got several players suspended and Toby Green himself heavily fined. And I know at the time, a lot of people thought, like, why the hell is Toby getting fined? Like, he's got nothing to do with it. And they say, oh, he's the captain. He should have been involved and, shut all that down. And at the time, everyone's like, oh, whatever, it's Mad Monday, who cares? Now we found out that these blokes were drinking so much, they were throwing up, they were pouring their own beers, they were getting naked. Who knows what else they were doing? Maybe they were having a bit of a Craig McCraig dinner set up. But would you have Toby Green at the Pies if he was the captain of Collingwood? Do you reckon he'd fit right in, or
no? We had a little smart ass that played and ended up being a premiership player for us, and we ended up sending him down to the Hawthorn Football Club. You know what I mean? Times have changed. You know, these bad boy menaces that once upon a time Collingwood used to sit there and say, we need a couple of bad boys in our team. That's changed. The whole culture has changed. And, Toby Green, yeah, sure, he may be a good player. He may be a great player. He's a captain. When you're a captain of a team, there's got to be some type of responsibility. There's got to be some type of, having a steady head between your shoulders and say to yourself, right, you know what, I've got to lead by example. And as Liam summed it up. He's a flog, you know, and I don't like him. I actually enjoyed it when I watched him when he sat there and he was crying when they lost from Collingwood, and then Collingwood ended up playing in the grand final.
I'd cry too because they were robbed. He just
I watched Toby Green,
Davis
and he was
and got
so
away with it.
disappointed. He was crying, you know. And for a second there, I thought to myself, "Oh, you know, you poor bastard," you know. But he's a tough spot. You got no time for him. And you know what? I honestly would love to see someone like the Dermot Brereton days. You know, someone that will have the balls to go in there and just smack him hard. You know what? And then that might bring him back down to earth. But a lot of that has disappeared from our game. Jezza would know what I'm talking about, because 30 years ago, this was something that was very, very common. You go in there and, you know, you throw a couple of elbows and you straighten them up. Nowadays, it's, you know, you've got to be very careful because the MRO, you know, will throw the book at you. But I wouldn't want him at Collingwood, and I don't like him.
Yeah, that's very true, Matty. Well, just to move on, because I did want to ask a similar question or along the same lines as Jezza, but because I didn't get to have a chat with you the other week, I didn't really get a good enough intro to you. Now we know you're a man from was it the Green Isle, Ireland?
Well, close enough, Ireland, yeah, the Emerald Isle, yeah.
Yep, the Emerald Isle, yeah. Now, which county are you from, and how the hell did you become a massive lover of footy?
I'm from County Offaly, which is in the middle of Ireland. Next door neighbour is Laois, actually, where Zach Toohey comes from. He lives probably about a half an hour from where I grew up. Didn't know him.
Yeah,
but
right. I know him for a few years, yeah.
No, when I came over here first, my father-in-law was an Eagles member already, and he didn't have his ticket. He couldn't go to a game one day. Actually, he was playing golf, and he said, "Do you want to go to the game?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not? I'll go and have a look at this thing." And it was actually, ironically, it was actually West Coast versus Richmond. This is back in the early 90s when West Coast was good. So I went along and had a look at it, and I was highly confused. I was confused because backmen in our Gaelic game are backmen. It's a bit like soccer. You have your midfields, your back, your forwards. You don't have people run around all over the joint. So I was very confused what was going on. So I thought, oh, well, anyways, I watched it. About 2 weeks later, my father-in-law, he said to me, "Look, there's a night game, the first ever night game in the Waffle over here." He said, "Let's go down." He was a big Seth Fremantle's fan, playing against the Swans, two really well-supported teams over here. So I went down to Fremantle Oval on Friday night, sat there on the grassy banks watching this, and I was astounded at how fast the game moved. I couldn't believe how fast the game was and how big the guys were when you get close up. And I bought a membership next year for the Eagles because I wanted to watch the game live as much as I could. I was this close to being a Magpie supporter, actually.
Oh,
the first game I watched on TV was the final. I think I mentioned it to many the other week. Was the Eagles Collingwood one, which I think was a drawback in 1990. And I know everyone's back in Magpies, and I was always like, I don't mind going for the underdog. Little did I know they're not the underdogs, but that's the only reason I became an Eagles member, is because I wanted to watch AFL more often. I think it's one of the greatest games ever. It's fantastic. So,
and isn't it great that your kind of story, because at the start of the show we were talking about, you know, this bullshit with the grand final entertainment and how they're allegedly trying to break into international markets. I think the best way of getting into footy is just watching the game. Is that not our best product?
Absolutely. I say this to people all the time. I talk to people a lot at work about footy and say, "Oh yeah, watch it on TV." I'm like, "Why don't you go to the game?" "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
You need to go to the game, because what you see on TV is just where the ball is. You don't see any of the off the ball stuff. You don't see all the movements or anything like that. The forwards leading up, leading back, leading up, leading back. All the movements in the midfield before the ball's even the ruckman get involved. You don't see any of that on the TV. There's no appreciation for it. You have to go and watch the game live. And I would encourage people actually to go and watch local footy, because you can get a lot closer to the action. It's not as perfect as the AFL is, where the AFL is a little bit too sanitized at the moment. Go and watch your local leagues like your VFL or even your amateur leagues over there or whatever. You'll be surprised at what you see. It is a fantastic spectator sport. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And well, I know I asked Liam about it. I know Perth is, I mean, it's only got footy and it's massive over there. But yeah, especially that 90s, early 90s, late 80s, that kind of where it transitioned from VFL to AFL and that it was always those pricks over in South Australia and the WA that was saying our footy's so much better than any of that shit they play in Victoria. Can you attest to that? At least at the reserves level, would you agree with that, or would you say it kind of had parity with the Victorian teams?
No,
or was it just
I would
a different
say
game?
the reason, I reckon, to be honest with you, the reason why we don't play State of Origin is I don't think the Victorians want to be embarrassed. If you take all the West Australians and the South Australian out of the Victorian teams and put them all in one team, you guys will be flogged quite often.
Wow, it's a big statement. That's a big statement.
No, it's true, mate, because if you look at some of the best players in the league at the moment, a lot of them are from out of Victoria.
And some of the WA's best players are from Victoria, but
well, Harley Reid. Oops.
Your best player is from.
Well, for now, Jezza, for now. But you might be getting your wish. You might be getting your wish because apparently they're bringing State of Origin back.
Yeah, but you don't bring State of Origin back at the start of the IFL season. That's not really having to go. And I noticed a lot of opposition from the clubs and saying, "Oh, we want to protect our players," but they have to look at that rugby league State of Origin. Even I watch it, and I'm not even a bloody league fan. I don't even know the rules. I don't know any of the players, but it is exciting to watch. I don't understand why the IFL is so opposed to it. The clubs, I think the clubs have too much power. I think the player managers are looking after their players as investments. They don't want them getting injured. And we understand, but injuries, you can get injured in your normal game.
In training.
It doesn't. An injury is an injury. It can happen at any time. What's the difference?
Yeah. We had Charlie Curnow missed a year just because he was playing around basketball with his mates, Yeah.
Well, we had the same thing over here. Nick Natty apparently at one of the Wildcats games done a slam dunk, jumped over the top of some player and slam dunked it, and got a very big please explain from the club saying, "Please don't be doing that sort of stuff."
Yeah. Well, if they keep continuing with all these gimmick rounds and that, I think the State of Origin, to bring it back to another point from the start of the show, it's another sort of celebration of our game and how it does bring the nation together in a way, rather than rivalry round, gather round, all these things they want to start adding, or even mid-season tournaments and that. A proper State of Origin done well, I think, would be fantastic. I just don't trust the AFL in its current state to be able to manage it, but it would be nice to dunk on WA eternally.
So what if, say, you get your final 8 and we have that little bye between the finals and the end of the regular season? What if we say that's our State of Origin, but we only pick players from the 10 teams that aren't playing finals, so then we're not injuring anybody? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, great. And you got 6 months off after this, so go mental. No suspensions.
Well, no, exactly.
Yeah.
If you think about that week off, I mean, it's great for the local footy. Don't get me wrong; they get a few people there, but you want momentum going into the finals. You want to be excited. You get to the end of the year, and you don't want to sit around for a week and think, "Oh, she's got to wait for the finals to start." So
yeah,
maybe they can have a look at something like that.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And speaking of local footy, who's your team and how they looking?
East Perth, third on the ladder. Half a game behind our rivals Claremont, which we play in the last round of the season. So I'm
not excited.
We're a bit panicky about that because we went down there last year and it was actually one of the worst games they've performed in. So we're hoping that we can back to that. We're playing the Eagles waffle team this week. So it's a home game, so they should get a win.
Yeah.
And then they got 3 really tough games to finish off the year, but we should finish at least in the top 3, if not top 2.
That's great. Well, my local Gulls, the Warrigal Gulls, captain coached by Jed Lamb. Show respect in the chat for Jed Lamb. We're sitting 4th on our ladder. We just had a 1-point win against Bairnsdale, which was we're talking about 2023 Melbourne semi-final insaneness. This topped that. I think the entire town of Warrigal shook at the end of that game. They had like a 25-point comeback in the 4th quarter to win by a point. It was insane. But it's like you said, the love for the sport should always come down to the local level, because that's where you really see those that love it. And if we're talking about heart and soul, with our corporate clubs. The real heart and soul is at your local club. So please, everybody, go to a game on the weekend and check it out. It only costs $5 or $10. So,
yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Who will you be going down to see then, Manny, this weekend? Oh, you don't go to games as it is.
Well, I support the Northgate Panthers. They play in the Diamond Valley League. They're Scotty, and they're just the end of my street. And if I'm not working and they're playing, I'll go and watch them. I tend to walk down there because if I take the car, I can't find parking, and then when I come back to my street, I can't find parking. But no, you know what? It's got a different. Local football's always had a different type of atmosphere. You know, you can sit there and you can have a beer and you can have a chit chat, and it's very different to when you're talking. When you're moving up to the AFL, and as Jesus said, the AFL is the elite part of it, but I tend to find that it's more. You have more fun, when you go to these local games because you'll bump into people you know, and you see a couple of friends, and and you share a beer, and you'll have a hot dog, and and I also support my local soccer team, Northgate City, and I'll go when they normally play on a Friday. I'll go watch them if I'm not working, have a beer, and have a souvlaki, not a kebab, a souvlaki. So I try to sort of try to mingle with everybody. But yeah, sport's good fun.
Everyone wants to mingle with you, Manny. We know you're Mr. VIP.
Take it easy, mate.
Yeah. Do you get your own box at the Northgate Panthers home ground, or
no such thing, mate.
Do they serve salmon there, or
come on, mate. Take it easy. I'm just a local boy from Northgate. That's it. All right, nothing more, nothing less.
That's all right. That's all right. Now, before we move on to the tips and bring in another very special guest, I just wanted to wrap things up with you, Jezza. We always have that comparison between our game and Gaelic football, and that we're always looking for players with transferable skills. Like, I haven't watched a single second of Gaelic. Can you please, like, is it actually comparable, or is it just that different? Is it just the fact that it's a ball on a field, or?
Well, the first thing to remember is the Gaelic game is not professional. That's the first thing. It's all amateur level, okay? So when you get guys coming over from the AFL who are bigger, stronger, because they do more gym work and stuff, that the game looks different and stuff like that. The one thing that the Gaelic game has that the Aussie game doesn't have, and you'll notice it with the Irish players more, is the fitness level. Most Gaelic games are played at unbelievable speed. Almost every player, like I know back when Liam used to do footy training and stuff like that, and I used to go down, there was a Gaelic team there. Before they done any kicking skills, anything, 3 or 4 laps of the oval before they touched anything. And so the fitness level. Now they have taken, like, the mark has come into the Gaelic game a little bit now. That wasn't part of it before.
Okay.
So the mark is in there now. But the game constantly moves all the time. So you have to be fit. If you're not fit, you can't play the game.
Yeah.
Now, also what they've taken out of it over, and I think this is coming back from some of the guys that probably played over here and have gone back over there, is there is a lot more gym work. A lot of the boys that play now are bigger. They are stronger. They're pretty solid lads. A lot of them are country fellas, big boys working on the farms and stuff like that. Not pumping iron in the gym. They're naturally strong. So there is a change in the game there, all right? So the 2 games can work, I think so. But as far as if you look at a professional league and an amateur league, there's always going to be a little bit of a difference in it because, these guys go out, play on the weekend, go to work on a Monday, turn up for training probably twice a week or something like that. And it wouldn't be uncommon for most of them to have a couple of beers after most games either.
Well, that's how our great game used to be, but do the players that come over here, does it get a lot of buzz back at home, or is it really just your TUIs?
I know now on one of the channels over there, I think it might be one of the pay-per-views, the Sky, something. I think they're actually showing like at least one AFL game a week. So a bit like, I think it was back, say, in the 80s over here, you had like a show called The Winners or something where you'd get one of the good games of the week. So they are a bit more across it. And obviously, when you get players like Zach too, you go back, and I know he's done a lot over there to promote the game. And I know when Ty Kennelly went back, he went back after winning the premiership with Sydney, which I hated because he beat us. But he went and played in a premiership in his local team as well. So there is awareness of it. And obviously, what a lot of them look at is, I can go over there and I can earn a shitload of money, live in a pretty nice country, and I can play for, however long, 10 years or something, still come back and still be able to play it over here. So it's a huge attraction for them. And there's a lot of the women actually also coming across.
The Carlton AFLW team is like all Irish.
Yeah.
It's about half a dozen of them, legit. And well, we've got two blokes on our AFL list, Rob Monaghan and Matt Duffy. I don't know if you're too across them, but according to the club, they were like the top of their class over there. And I know they go back over summer to play the game a bit, but have they come across your desk at all? Or
I don't know their name. No.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well, remember their names because I don't know. I don't. Monaghan you might not be seeing much of him next year, but
you never know.
Yeah.
Just one thing I was just thinking. Well, you guys were chatting there before about Jack Sildani and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
Come to West Coast. Just to remind you of the last time a Carlton player came to West Coast. Jules Coleman, medalist, premiership.
I'll remind you the last time a West Coast player came to Carlton. Thank you, Jezza.
Well, he won a Brownlow because it was the best player in your team. You had no one else. So
played the best footy of his life, I believe.
Oh, I think it was the best footy of his life. I think we might have got the best out of him, but
apples and oranges, mate.
Yeah.
Well, I would love you if you're happy to join us for the tips, Jezza. I'd love to. I'd love to have you around. I'm going to bring another one of our favourite sons in. And just as I bring him in, my final question for you, Jez, it's got to do with your current favourite child. And obviously I'm not talking about Liam, but it's the big Harley Reid. Now, Rocco, do you think Jezza should be paying $2+ mil per year for Harley, or should I tell him to get stuffed?
It's a lot of money for one player. It's a lot of money for one player. Is he a generational player? Yeah, maybe. Are you going to build around him? I don't know. What else do you need? There's you've got to answer a lot of questions there, man. Like, is he worth $2 million a year? Over what, 10 years? What are they giving him?
No. The talk over here is that there was offers on the table from the Eagles for 3, 5, and 7 years. He's managed to come back and gone with a counter offer saying, no, we want 11 years at 2.2 a year. And I was like, absolutely not happening.
For a second year.
In my opinion, I don't think there's any player in the AFL at the moment that's worth $2 million. That is too much money for one player to get. The Eagles are not in a position to throw all their eggs in the basket with Harley Reid. Harley is a great player. He's got potential. Are we going to pay $2 million for potential? I don't think so. He's out for the rest of the season. He's already gone back to Victoria. So I don't think with where the Eagles are with the rebuild, I would think it would be a real slap in the face of the other younger players in that team that they're going to need to keep in 3 or 4 years' time. If they give all that money to Harley Reid, go, we're building the team around him. I don't like the idea. And I know he's being talked up huge over. There was an article in the paper the other week from Luke Shuey saying, oh, no, he's got leadership skills. This was after the Richmond game. Well, he had leadership skills for half a game. Then he done nothing for the other half. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Last week had very little impact on the game. Was targeted quite a lot by Fremantle, but that's okay. You want to make sure the players that could impact the game don't do it as long as you do it legally. But that you cannot be giving that player that much money. I don't care how good people think he is. It would be a bad move for the Eagles to do that.
I don't rate him. I don't like him. I honestly don't like him. I do not like him.
Why? Why don't you like him? He's a generational player.
I don't like him. There seems to be a lot. Look, for me, I don't like him. I don't like him because I look at
There's
the
got to
team
be a
that we
reason
have.
why you don't like.
Sorry, you interrupted me. I'll tell you why.
I'll interrupt you. I'll take you off, man. I've got
Well,
the
you
control.
get you know what? You're here as a part-timer.
Sorry, Manny.
Okay.
Manny, I'll take you off. You've been
All
doing this all night. Every time you get asked a question, you go on for about 6-7 minutes and you don't answer
The
the
reason
question.
why I don't want him on, the reason why I don't like him is because I don't see him being able to fit into the Collingwood Football Club at the moment. The way our club is, the way I look at that player. I just don't like him.
To do with it.
I don't like him.
You just said you don't
I don't like him. I don't like him.
You don't like him because
I don't like him. I've not seen, honestly, Jezza, I've not seen anything. I've not seen anything where I can say, you know, there's something influential about him. You know, look, I look at Nick Dacos. He's an influential player. I look at Harley Reid, and I don't see that at the moment. Maybe he doesn't have enough players there. I don't know. But I don't see it.
The bloke is a generational player. I'm telling you, he's that good. That's not the question about how good he is. He'll change the game for you. Shut up now. He'll change the game for you. He's strong, mate. He can play both feet. He can, he's a contested bull, mate. The bloke is, mate. He's a Judd-like player. That's not the question. For you to say you don't rate him.
I don't rate him. I don't like him.
You said that you were rapt to see Doherty take a mark and kick a goal. You don't watch the games, Manny. You barely watch Collingwood, let alone a West Coast game.
So, this is the point, Rocco. You're drifting.
That's not even the point. The point is that
you're drifting.
Why would West Coast pay 2.2 over 11 years when you're rebuilding? You've got so much more that you need.
They'd be mad to. They'd be mad to. They would be crazy to pay that kind of money.
Anyone would.
Yeah. And well, Jezzy, you'd probably agree that a lot of the players around his age at the Eagles have like surprisingly shown a lot, even in those bad losses that you've had. Like that, pardon me for not remembering their names, but in particular is that forward of yours, the one who got concussed and took out.
and Archer Reid.
I think it was Reid. Didn't he get concussed and it took about 3.5 quarters to take him off?
No, that was down there. That was Harry Edwards. That was down the back lines.
Okay. Yep.
How many first rounders? What would you get for him? Like if you do you get compensation? Yeah, if someone gets
you'd have to be if it was me and I was doing the trade, I would try and get experienced players into the team rather than picks.
Because
I think where we are at the moment, our picks are fine. We have a pretty young team, but I think we need a bit of experience. So even though I was a bit off the Ling Baker trade last year because I thought we gave up a bit too much for him, he has paid back this year. So he's really helped that team out with seniority.
It took a few rounds for him to get worked into it, but
it
he has
absolutely
been incredible.
I was overseas and I read about it. I'm like, oh, geez, that's a bit. But he's put in. I know he's not in the game at the moment. Old mate who made that slur the other week, but he's helped as well. There's no doubt Harley Reid's season this year has been tough because he doesn't have that senior player around helping him. And I spoke to you the other week about Tim Kelly. I don't think Tim Kelly is not that teaching player. He's not going to show Harley Reid how to play the game. But someone like an Elliot Yeo is going to go in there. He's going to take a few of the hits from him. He's going to go in and block for him and stuff like that.
Oh, you could see it last year.
More.
Yeah, you could see it last year. Yeah, Yo did so much for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's contracted at the end of next year. But it's interesting you say you don't want him at the Magpies, Manny. The news out of here is he's only interested in 2 clubs, and that's Geelong and Hawthorn. However, I did read an article on the weekend where Sam Mitchell says we're not in a position to pay the kind of money he's asking for.
That's right.
Well, in regards to that, Jezza, because I asked Liam about this last week, do you feel that offer that came from the management of 2 years plus the 9-year activation, and because it was do you think it was so insane on purpose? So then when the West Coast say no to that, they can say, look, we put our best offer on the board. We're going to look elsewhere. Because just because he said he wants $2 million from the Eagles doesn't mean he can't go to Geelong and say, I want 1.5.
Yeah, that's true. Look, maybe they are trying to price him out of the market for the Eagles or stuff like that. Who knows? Like, I mean, player management, what they're asking for some of the players at the moment, again, like I said, it's all based on potential.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we think he's going to be a really, really great player. But why wouldn't you go and say to him, all right, well, let's see what you do. Let's give you your contract. Let's see how you go on this rate for the next 2 or 3 years. And if we see vast improvement on you, then maybe you can be talking about a big dollar value. You can't just go after 2 years saying, I want $2 million and 11 years or I'm off. I'd be like, well, thanks for calling. See you later, buddy.
And it's far from a Horn Francis situation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Horn Francis sucked at North Melbourne because he just didn't want to do the hard yards. No, I've got to give Harley Reid respect for this. He's in a team that's playing pretty crap. We've won, I think it's like 11 games in the last 5 years or something ridiculous. He's not sucking about it. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. So yeah, sure, maybe we are getting sucked into what he wants to stay or wants to go. Who knows?
Unfortunately, but Jezza, that this is the way it is now. But players are paid on potential.
Yes, yeah, I think the clubs need to turn around and say, okay, well, if you think your player is worth that money, you go and try and get him somewhere for that money.
100%. You've got to stand your ground. And we're in the same position.
It's gone from the clubs. You got player management asking for ridiculous amounts of money, ridiculous lengths of contracts and stuff like that. And even when we're going to, AFL is looking at it thinking, do we really want players signed up to a club for that long? What happens if they get long-term injuries and stuff like that?
Joy Newcomb just signed today for 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, 6 is probably reasonable, but geez, 10, 11 years, man, that's
I think a club, we're in the same position, like with the TDK, you can say, and also maybe the Silvani, since we had the discussion about Silvani before, he's not on that sort of money. But you've got to set a standard at the club. You've got to sit there and go, rightio, this is what you're worth. And it's like buying a house or a car. You've got to sit there and you've got to go, I'm not spending any more. Like, what's he worth? Like, if we go back to Silvani, because I heard your discussion before, with Silvani, what's he worth? Like, it doesn't matter that Collingwood's offering him if you want to pay him $750, off you go. We've got to set a standard, mate. Like, exactly. If he's getting $750, that means he's one of your top players. He's one of your top end players. I mean, what's Dacos getting paid? $1 million?
Yeah, and Rocco,
right? So now you're paying Sauce $750. Like, think about it. Like, it's up to you. So I think Cohen's doing the right thing. Yes, talk to him and see if he wants to say. But you got to say, mate, you're worth $550. We'll give you $600 to stay here, but that's it. And it's got to be the same with Harley Reid. You got to say, mate, if you want to stay, man, I want players that want to stay here. If you want to go for the money, off you go. Get your $2 million for 10 years and go, mate. Because you know what you can do for $2 million? Mate, you can buy a lot of players for $2 million, and I reckon you can rebuild your side even quicker than if Harley Reid was there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jezza, do you feel that West Coast can, like, Harley Reid's probably one of those guys? Yes, he is 19, 20. He does need to mature and probably needs that kind of structure and development around them. Can West Coast provide that to him currently?
Well, I would think if he was in the team at the moment, probably not, particularly through the midfield. Like I said, I don't think Tim Kelly is that kind of leader. I don't know if Yo's going to come back next year, to be honest. He has struggled to get on the park for quite a few years now. And then when he does get on there, he will get another injury. So I'm not trying to retire him off or anything like that. But probably at the moment, we don't have the other people. That's why I'm saying we should look at the draft this year. Think, do we trade out some of our early picks to try and get some experienced midfielders that are on the cusp of other teams? I don't have any names on the top of my tongue at the moment, but I think that's something we need to do. I think our forward line is young enough. We can live with that for a while. Jake Waterman should be back next year. Oscar, who knows what's happening with Oscar? I mean, if Oscar wants to go again for big money or whatever, I'm happy for him to go. He's not my favorite player, to be honest. So I don't mind if he leaves. Down the back line, I think we're okay with Harry Edwards, a few of the boys down there. I think that's okay as well. So as far as people that are going to help Harley out, we don't have any big bodies at the moment. So we probably, if he wants to stay, and we want to keep him, then I think we have to get some protection around him for sure. If he says no, I want to go, then I think we should be looking at what we can get to make the team better. We certainly can't be giving one player a bucket load of money and build around him, because I think we need more people before him.
Well, rumors are that our own Mitch McGovern is interested in heading over to take over his brother's plumbing business.
Sick. We'll take 2 first rounders.
Would you take McGovern?
Oh, like he wouldn't be the worst player, but he is a bit inconsistent at times, and he is a bit injury prone as well. So,
100%.
Yeah, that's what Carlton does to people, though. Have you been happy with Owies while he's been there?
Yeah, Owies he's been okay. Yeah, he's put in a bit all right. Hasn't lit the joint up, but the games that I've seen him in, he seems to have a fair bit of go on him. So, but again,
Owies is
20 years of age, isn't he?
Well, when he left, you'd think we'd lost a triple Coleman medalist and a quadruple Brownlow medalist. So,
yeah.
At least if he can get back to a goal a game with you guys, you'd probably be happy with it.
Oh yeah. Like I think he might be out actually this week again injured, so that's not great. Late in the season, we're going to get injuries, so there's a couple of young guys in the waffle that probably Tom Gross will come in and should play out the rest of the year. Let's have a look and see what he's like and stuff like that. I think we just have to have a look at the younger kids that we have on the waffle list, see if there is players there. We also need to have a look at some of the peripheral players like Bailey Williams, Jack Petrocelli, some of these players, even Tom Cole, players that have been around for a while. Are they going to be in the next Premiership team? For me, no. So could we get something for them still? That's what we should be looking at. Yeah.
I'm definitely need to ask the question here. What would you pay for Harley Reid, Scotty?
If it was at the end of this year,
Carlton, and he goes, "Give me a price and I'll come." What would be
for Harley Reid? I'd give you the same offer as TDK, 1.1 to 1.2.
Yeah.
Over 3 years plus a 2-year activation.
Yep. All right. I like it, Scotty. I like it. What about you, Liam?
I don't want to see any contract over 3 years ever.
I agree. I reckon contracts over 3 years, they're way too much these days, and it's ridiculous.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
He'd actually be all right in our team because he's a younger player and we're a younger team. He'd fit well. He also has that burst through the midfield. He's got that bit of pace, which I don't think some of the guys really have. Except for maybe a Lawler, I feel like they'd actually work really well together. But as far as price point, I'd say around 1.2, 1.3, same as Scotty.
I think that's
right. And you wouldn't want to go too much more. I'd say 3 years, 4 years is enough.
Now, last question before we move on. Sorry, Scotty. Do you think he'll get the $2 million off someone?
Nah.
No,
it's too much. It's too much. And also, everyone keeps talking about who the first $2 million player is, and as much talk and blow there is about it from these player managers, I think clubs are going to be too shit scared to pull the trigger until there's just an obvious one, or 2 million is the new 1.4.
It's a lot of money, man. Too.
You can put it in some context.
Think about LDU. What's LDU on? 1.5? Yeah,
that's diabolical.
Yeah.
Actually, next year, Zach Williams is on 1.2. Just quite.
Yes. Well, if anyone wants him,
because it's a back-ended contract. So next year, they paid him, I don't know, maybe 500 for the first year, but now, 1.2. Do you believe it? He better kick fucking 80 goals next year, because 1.2. I want to see a lot of goals there.
Yeah, he owes us. His account's in deficit.
He owes us big time.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, Scotty. If you want to put the $2 million on a player into context, all right. So you got Wangani Malira at the Saints, all right. They say he's going to be the $2 million man. Is he better than Harley Reid?
Yes.
Well,
and he's not playing in the team that's in the finals either.
Yeah. I reckon they're different players.
Yeah.
He's a bit more. He's a bit more exciting, that's for sure. You know, he's
Yeah.
got that X factor, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are they
He's-
going to pay
he's
him?
got
out of
those-
his money?
He's got a couple of extra years on Reed, and
Yeah.
this is true. This has been his real breakout this year, especially.
Well, I think the Saints,
you
they
look at
should be
potential.
concentrating on him. They should be concentrating on keeping him and not
Absolutely.
worry about
The
TDK.
Saints have so many of the right
Saints,
pieces
yeah, no.
in the right spot as well. And then Sauce is just, I don't know if he's just trolling or what he's doing. Like,
Do you reckon he's
I
just
mean,
going around just trolling every club?
we've seen how he operates about what he did to our club, but it's mind-boggling, man. It is. I hope that all that TDK shit is real, just to expose like this Silvani name we're all getting hyped up about. It's Skatar, as they say.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lana, but
I hope we're using
No.
the Skatar in the right context tonight, mate.
yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I
We don't want
didn't
many
even
giving you
realize
a
I was
lesson in
saying.
Greek again.
Yeah. Oh well, I've been putting the link out. The Greeks, they haven't been
He's out
joining,
there.
but they're always welcome. Oh, that's why. Actually, yeah, I wanted to ask where you're from in Ireland, Jezza, because our Southern European friends here, you call someone a Greek and they say, "Oh, clearly he's Macedonian." When all these blokes were just like, "Oh, we're from England. Is this guy from England? Where's he from?" You know. As an Anglo-Celt myself, it's quite obvious that you're from Ireland. Yeah.
Well, true, yes. Well, I mean, I think most people think that England and Ireland and Scotland and Wales are all just the same places. Like Scotland,
Most of
England,
us
Wales,
kind of
all
are.
the same
Just some
island.
people don't want
Northern
to
Ireland
join
and
the
Southern
winning
Ireland
team.
are neighbours, so
Yeah. And then you choose, and just like all the best Irishmen, you chose to come live over here.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, some weren't exactly by choice, but
No, that's true. No, I'm sure there's probably some heritage there that would have probably come across in the boat for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is a bit of Fenian spirit, all right, but
yeah. But you know, you've really stepped out of your comfort zone and gone to Perth of all places, which I think is like majority Poms and Irish.
yeah, it probably is all right. Yeah. Like say some of the Poms.
I've had 3 mates that have moved over there. 2 of them have Pom girlfriends. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, the weather's
Yeah.
good and the work is good. You know,
good work.
The weather is important.
Yeah. So,
How you finding it, Liam? In Melbourne, it's like bloody complete different place over here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty trash when it starts raining and stuff. That's not fun. However, apparently it hasn't been much better back in Perth. So,
Oh no, yeah, it's been freezing cold. Well, freezing. It's been like 8 degrees or something, hasn't it?
Yeah. No, I was.
I don't want to brag or
the
anything, but
morning.
I've got a job, and we have these daily teams meetings, and we got some team members from Perth, and they've been moaning about how cold it is, and yeah, it's about the same temp as here in Victoria. I didn't even know that was possible in WA.
No, we didn't either. It was 0.8 degrees last Friday morning when I was standing there at 7 a.m. at my toolbox. And that is just ridiculously cold. That is very, very cold for over here.
For about a fortnight after the federal election, we were getting about -2, -3 in the mornings here in Warragul, and it was clear skies, sunny. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's not get too sidetracked, fellas, because we do have some games this week, and I'd appreciate your wisdom with these ones, Jez. But Liam, take the reins, mate.
Hey. All right, here we go. There's around 4 weeks left of the season.
4 weeks.
This is a good one coming up Thursday night. This is a chance for the Doggies to get back into the 8 against the Giants, who are a very good team. There is a couple of big outs for them. It is a home game. They play Marvel well. I'm going to do it. I'm going to back the Dogs in to get this one.
Yeah, I'm back in Footscray too. Both teams have a lot to fight for, but as impressive as the Giants were last week, I think they spent a lot of tickets. And as you say, one of the most important players has subbed himself out, basically. So Doggies for me.
Yeah, I'm going Dogs. I think
Yeah.
the
Yeah, Dogs for
will
me.
do it.
Yeah,
Jezza?
Dogs here as well. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
the home game, and as you said, the captain's out, and he is an important player for him. So yeah, so I think the Dogs, but I think GWS will do well in the finals. In saying that,
True. All right. I think we all
GWS have only been barely knocked out of finals the last few years. They're just
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They're prime, man. I'm telling you, they're a good side. They're a massive chance of
They were
going.
unlucky a couple of years ago against Collingwood.
They were unlucky.
I mean, the
Yeah,
game
yeah,
was
no.
rigged. But
Yeah. I mean, when
Very
you get
unlucky.
those bloody penalties and that, but no, they're prime, mate.
Against the three
I wouldn't be
12
surprised
Breeders.
if they win it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
my big call was that they'd miss finals at the start of the year, but they just have a habit of being a solid top 8 team minimum.
Yeah, I think they'll stay there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next game, Friday night. This is another good matchup. Adelaide versus Hawthorn. Two teams potentially playing for a top 4 spot, even depending how things shake out. But Adelaide at home look pretty strong, and they're playing some good footy at the moment. I'm sticking with Adelaide.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Adelaide for me.
Crom for me.
Adelaide.
Yeah. If anyone's seen Riley Thilthorpe in the flesh, it's unreal. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea, but he's a specimen. He's like a Harry, everything that Harry Mackay can do, but he's not gay. I mean, he's got balls.
You're absolutely 100%, man. He's like, mate, he's grown the beard. He looks like a Viking. You know, he's out there, and mate,
He's got like 20 kilos. He's got like 20 kilos on Mackay, and he's not afraid to throw it around. But he can do everything he can do just as well.
They're a good side, man. They're another side. I wouldn't be surprised if they win it either. Just quietly, they get a couple of home finals. I'm telling you, they look all right, man. They've really jumped up in the last couple of years, haven't they?
Well, I think they're kind of playing now where everyone expected they should be.
Yeah, I agree. No, they look strong, man. And they look fucking strong. Yeah, definitely Adelaide.
And for a coach who was coaching for his job at the start of the year, he's done well. And then watch him go to absolute shit next year. Once he gets his extension.
Yeah, well, that's right. But no, they're a good side, man. Mate, I'm telling you, they got winners all over the ground.
Yeah, great side. Yeah.
Next,
we're all on Adelaide?
Yeah, all on Adelaide, yeah.
Adelaide.
Yeah, that's not good. This is an interesting game. We've got a West Coast supporter here, so you can tell us about it. But Melbourne, if they lose this, I reckon could be Goodwin's last game. 100% would not be surprised.
You reckon he'll get sacked before the season?
If they lose to the bottom team that's only won one game all season after bottling a game last week that they should have won, he's in big trouble.
I agree.
He is in big trouble.
Yeah. Well, it was Beveridge and Nix that were fighting for their job at the start of the year. Now it's Goodwin and Voss. Who gets sacked first, Goodwin or Voss?
Yeah, it just depends on who loses bigger. I agree.
They're both up there.
But Jezza, take the wheels, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm going to actually tip the Eagles in this because since the only team we beat this year was the Saints, and they belted Melbourne in a quarter last week. And I agree with Liam. This is critical for Melbourne. If I think Goodwin's in trouble, there's a lot going on in that club that's not right at the moment. They should be way better than they are. You cannot be giving up that kind of lead against a team like the Saints and losing that game. I know there was a controversial free at the end of it, but you know what? You were 47 points up. You shouldn't be losing games from there. So I'm going to tip the Eagles just as a little roughy because there's a little bit of family rivalry going on in the tipping at the moment. So I need something.
The Eagles aren't too bad at Marvel.
No, they're not too bad, and we match up pretty well against Melbourne. The only problem is maxing the ruck, but I think if we can put the ruckman in there, don't worry about trying to jump over the top of Max. Just try and nullify his jump. or
Yeah.
maybe speak to our midfielders. Say, hey, why don't you just shark his taps? Don't worry about our ruckman trying to knock it down to you. It's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
and with Maya out of the back line and Lever out of the back line, again, that's going to help the Eagles. Didn't help us against Richmond a few weeks ago, but you know what?
I'm assuming that the May appeal just was upheld, but that was supposed to be on
Yeah,
tonight,
that was
wasn't it?
upheld.
Yeah.
It was upheld. He's still got another 2 weeks to serve.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with Melbourne too. I mean, we said it last week. It's funny how two clubs have the exact same issues when they base their game on it. But like we've been saying for years, Melbourne has a terrible culture, and it all doesn't matter how hard you try to hide it. It'll bubble to the surface eventually. And just like the Blues, this is not the last we'll see of the Demons before the end of the year. I don't feel, but I'm going to tip them regardless.
Yeah, I'm going to tip. Because it's in Melbourne. If this was in Perth, I would have picked it.
Because the Weagles got them last year in Perth, didn't they? That was a great game. I remember that. Yeah.
Like Melbourne actually played well for 3 quarters against. They actually played really well against the Saints for 3 quarters. I mean, take away that last quarter, and they were all over them, you know. But unfortunately, Jezza, I think they're going to get you, mate.
Hey, I'll tip Melbourne, but I want the Eagles to win.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah. I'm tipping Melbourne to stay ahead of you. So
that's okay. That's all right.
Moving on.
This is my game. Here we go. Speaking about wins, we beat Gold Coast Suns earlier this year. I think we were the first team to beat them in season 2025. This is going to be another pretty tough one. We do take a bit of confidence from that first game into it. We have been playing some decent football, but I think Gold Coast are starting to hit their straps now. Final spot on the line, up in the Gold Coast is always tough. Yeah, head says tip Gold Coast, but I'll be supporting us hard.
Yeah, well, it's the rematch, isn't it? Because Gold Coast definitely have to collect a receipt on you.
Yep.
In saying that, though, I think they'll be pretty confident with this one, and so am I. Gold Coast Suns.
Manny?
Yeah, look, as much as I hate it, I think the Suns will just get over the line with this one. So
doesn't that just wreck your theory? They win this game, they're not missing finals.
Well, we'll see. 4 more games to go. We'll see.
Yeah, they win this game. They won't. And I don't think. Yeah, they won't. And who have they got the last 3 games? I don't think they did too hard the games.
I can tell you. Well, basically, if Gold Coast win and Doggies lose, that's
then
it.
they 100% make it. Yeah. I don't think. I can't see.
Gold Coast they've got you guys next week at Marvel, and they've got the Giants, and they've got Port and Essendon.
See, and they're as if they're not going to beat Port and Essendon. So, that's right. And they've got a game in hand, and you don't think they're going to make the finals?
Nah, I think they're locked in.
Imagine they could make 4th, but with percentage, and they've got Essendon in that extra game.
What are they going to do?
Imagine they have to win like 100 points minimum, like for the percentage.
They have to. Are they playing in the bye? Do we still know?
Yeah. So what's more than likely going to happen, because we have them in that final round, is that we'll have the Thursday night game, and then they'll play up on the Gold Coast the following Wednesday.
During the week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
So Gold Coast finally make finals, and they still have a shorter break than everybody else. Moving on.
Yes. You put me down for the Suns as well, guys.
Oh, sorry, Jezza.
That's all right. I just have to get one back in the boy there.
No, go for it.
I'm tipping the Suns as well. I'm tipping.
That's okay.
Quinn never tipped against Richmond, Liam.
Nah, it's getting serious now, though.
True. I'll wait until we see the results. But moving on. Next.
All right, next game. Yeah, there it is. There's Essendon back on the fixture. away at the SCG against Sydney. I think it's going to be another tough day for them. Swans in this one.
It's going to be a mauling. Sydney, easy.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Sydney. I reckon Papley can get away with having a double quarter pounder before this one. Swans for me.
Yeah, Swans.
Yeah, Swans for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is a big game. Next game.
This is a good game.
Oh, wait. What day is that? The Saturday? It's going to be 45 mil of rain in Sydney on Saturday for this game.
Really?
Yeah. Holy moly.
Oh, boy, that's going to be... that changes everything now.
No. Essendon, they don't play well in the rain. Essendon don't play well in the rain. So, and if there's 45 mil of rain,
they struggle to play under a roof.
Yeah.
Now
that I know there's 45 mil, I might change and say Sydney by 80 points, not 120.
Here we go, boys.
Next, this is a big game coming up.
Huge.
Yeah, no, this is a good one. Manny will tell us all about it, I'm sure. But Collingwood versus Brisbane. Brisbane haven't beaten Collingwood since that grand final, so I feel like there's still that little bump for them. I really hope they can do it, but I just don't see them doing it on their current form. Brisbane. I'm gonna stick with Collingwood by like a goal. Yes.
Brisbane might be missing a couple of their freaks, but I think they might just get over the Pies, who haven't exactly had the best run of form lately. If they lose this, they would have lost 3 out of the last 4.
I'm with you. As much as I heard the dribble come out of the 2 Collingwood supporters before as they were talking, at the end of the day, you won 1 out of 3 games, and Richmond had your measure. And actually, Manny, you did say one correct thing tonight. They're 50 inside 50s by Richmond against you guys. Brisbane, if they get 50 inside 50s, they're going to win by 30 points. So, yeah, I don't think you're traveling too well. You're 1 injury away from not even making the top 4. So, yeah, so Brisbane for me. On a close one, I reckon within the 2-goal mark.
Oh, it'll be a great game. It'll be close. I think the Lions, the Bryans, will finally get one over them.
Yep.
I'm going for Collingwood by a couple of goals. I think there's too much on the line for Collingwood to drop this game. Their form over the last month hasn't been great, but I think they'll step up just to show their credentials in this game. And I don't think Brisbane have been going as well as they should be. So I'm going to Pies.
Yeah, I agree with Jezza. I think the Pies will set the record straight after this game. So I think Collingwood by at least 4 goals.
Conservative.
Right. This is good.
Yeah. Moving on to Sunday. Lovely slate of graveyard games here, by the way.
I know.
Nah, mate, did you go see what St Kilda put up in that?
Oh, well, I was going to wait till you started, but I was going to say
that is one good
St Kilda versus North would be your most typical graveyard game of all time, but now it is going to be all eyes on Saints. I reckon Marvel's going to be packed. Packed. They might even open up the 3rd floor.
Well, I don't know. I've got to disagree there. They still both suck. It's one game. But now look, Saints will definitely take a lot of confidence from it. But you do have to remember they were pretty awful for 3 quarters as well. North do need a win, but I think Saints play Marvel pretty well. I'll stick with them. I'll stick with the Saints.
Yeah, I agree. I think that win against Melbourne has given them that little bit of extra confidence. I couldn't see at the moment North Melbourne. You know what, they've had a good sort of season this year. They've when I say sort of good, you know, they've had moments where they've shown a lot of potential, but I honestly think they're a couple of years away from from knocking on the inside 8 door. So I definitely would say that St Kilda will win this one comfortably, quite comfortably.
North Melbourne's story for the last few years has just been 1 step forward, 10 steps back. St Kilda's going to smash them.
Yeah. Saints for me as well.
I tell you what, I know they're only young and that, North Melbourne and that, but I mean, you got to start asking questions of Clarkson too. I mean, I've been speaking to North Melbourne supporters, and I've been asking them, "Are you happy?" And they thought they'd be just a little bit further progressed. They just
they just look exactly the same as they have for years. They've just got slightly better talent there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying it's all his fault and everything, but man, 4 years and they've really got nowhere, haven't they?
Yeah, I might dig a little deeper and kind of see what the lore is.
They've only won like three and 4 games in the last 3 years. So.
Yeah,
been in the bottom 4 for like 6 years or something.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm just surprised a North Melbourne fan. That's
I know one, and he is sick. He goes to every single game, every single VFLW game, every single AFLW game, knows every single player in those sides, goes to every reserves game that he can. He's roo all the way through.
Jesus.
And shout out to Thomas Rock. He's a proper sicko, but I love him.
Yeah, I think I know one North Melbourne supporter, so
yeah. Moving on.
This is another not exciting game. Geelong versus Port Adelaide down in Geelong. Port just got pumped. Geelong just pumped the team. Probably going to be the same result. Geelong could smack them here by a bit. So Geelong, easy.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Cameron will beat Port Adelaide by 2 goals.
Yeah. Well, I had the list written down, but basically Jeremy Cameron himself outscored, I think, nearly every losing side last week.
He would have too, man. He would have too.
Because what was it? 11 goals won. Was that 67? 67, yeah. And a lot of teams barely cracked over 60 points this last week.
It was a phenomenal display by him. It was amazing, man. There was some amazing displays of individuals and games this week. It was one of the weirdest rounds I've ever watched.
Yeah. Well, Cats and Port, this game last year was pretty good. Port got a massive head start on the Cats, but they're just not the same team this year. They're pretty woeful. They've got massive outs. And the Geelong faithful, because they know they've got an easy kill, they're going to pack out Cardinia Park.
Yeah,
if it was a serious team, you might see 20,000 there, but because it's Port and they know they're going to win, there's barely going to be an empty seat in the house. Geelong for me.
Yeah, Geelong here too.
Yeah.
Cats for me.
Yeah. Before we move on, has Bailey Smith fallen off a bit?
Didn't he have 43 touches the other day?
Yeah, I know. He didn't fall off. He had like 40
the hype around him. Ever since he got a slap on the wrist for the nose beers, the hype's died down. Would he still be in a chance for the Brownlow?
No.
Nah.
No.
Yeah.
Not doing that well.
No.
No, probably not. No.
Forget it.
No.
So we all agree. We all agree he's fallen off. Then next game,
he's 42 touches. I think he just put this. He's 42 touches and a goal falling off. Yeah, that's a pretty shit performance, I reckon.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I did not watch that game.
I reckon I could get that against North Melbourne. Nah, that's a bit rude.
Oh, here he goes. I reckon I could get that against all Melbourne.
I reckon I could get that against North Melbourne, actually.
I don't reckon I could get that. I don't reckon I could get that against North Melbourne.
Few nose beers.
Yeah, a few nose beers. I reckon I could at least get. I reckon I could get a goal.
At a minimum.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I reckon get one goal. Just sit in the square. I reckon get one goal.
Yeah, but someone's got to kick it to you from North.
More chance than someone from Carlton kicking it to you.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that is the last game coming up. Your mighty Carlton. They're travelling over the path to take on Fremantle. Look, Freo's in pretty good form. Again, they need to keep winning to hold that spot in the 8. And they're going to win this one too. 3-0 for me.
Yeah, don't forget, fellas, TJP catch up, Sporting Globe Northlands. I was going to say it and you tried to remind me, but please, everyone, make it to Northlands because, as I said, we'll have some fun out of what's going to be a pretty miserable affair now.
It's a good day, night, whenever it is, man. It's always a good time out there. We have a laugh.
And it's a 5 o'clock game too, so you're not going to be getting home too late.
And the food's great.
Yeah.
And you don't have to bring any knives. I mean, sorry, you do have to bring your own knives.
Yes. Drive through service optional.
Service, and there's an open fireplace too.
Yeah. Now, Rocco, what margin are we hoping for here? How big are we hoping for to get pumped here?
Shit. This I said yesterday this could be a 10 goal. I think I said more. I think I said 12 goal loss.
Now, if what we've heard in a few days,
I heard some big people aren't going to be going over either. So I heard
that's what I was about to say. And any of the non-Carlton heads in the chat that aren't across it, word on the street is that there could be a lot of senior players that aren't traveling over for this game. And one of the biggest markers for that is it would be Charlie Curnow's 150th game.
Yep.
It's currently Wednesday. There's been zero mention of it from the club. So to assume it's pretty safe to say he'll be staying on 149 this week.
That's pretty telling.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. They, and especially Carlton, they would have been pumping that 150 all week.
Yeah. I hate all the talk about fucking bobbleheads and shit like that. But could you imagine what they'd wheel out for a Curnow 150? CC 150?
They'd have the bobbleheads like that.
Yeah. That's if he even plays for the rest of the year, mind you. But
I heard that he's not going to play for the rest of the year. I heard McGovern won't play for the rest of the year. So there's going to be a few outs, I reckon. And
so is this Foss resting these players potentially to prepare them for
Manny
2026?
Manny, this is not anyone from the club forcing them not to play. It's believed that it's the players themselves are choosing not to play. Just look over our injury list, see who's there long term. That isn't like a season-long injury, and you can make the assumptions yourself.
How can a club as big as Carlton get things so wrong? I just don't know.
That's the question that when we first wake up in the morning and we have that brief moment of peace, and then that very question hits us about 3 seconds after we wake up. We ask ourselves that every day, Manny, but we don't need you to remind us. But
anyway, Dockers for
Dockers
me.
Dockers have been playing very well, Manny, and I hope they take the absolute fucking piss. I really do. Dockers for me.
Yeah, the team that's playing Carlton, I can't say their name because if I say that name, I'll have to go into the bathroom and get some mouthwash. So the team that's playing Carlton will win probably about 6 goals, I reckon.
Well, you need to wash your mouth out after last weekend, Jez.
Oh, look. Every week, man.
Liam, did you say? Sorry? Yeah. Everyone's gone Freo, surely.
If you won't say the name that you're tipping Carlton.
Nah.
Rules are he won't know who to tip if you don't say the team. Jezza.
Oh, I'll be tipping the Shockers then.
Close enough.
That's like me tipping Collingwood, man. I understand, but sometimes there is no choice but to pick them. Yeah, so no, there's no chance this week. I mean, not only has the coach given up, the players are given up. They're done, and they're all already thinking about well, next year, and not even at Carlton, I think some of them. So that's the issue. So
would you guys call us crazy if we sacked Voss on Monday after like a huge loss, or would you still be saying let him see him out the year, like Liam and Jezza?
No, if you get belted, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah. What's the benefit?
Exactly.
After just 3 more games to go, well, what difference does it make?
What are you saying? What difference? Keep him or not keep him?
Yeah, regardless of the result, if he's not there next year, I don't see the point in sacking him with 3 games left in the season.
I actually disagree. I go the opposite, because the season starts this week. So the next year starts this week. So if we are going to sack him, if that's their intention, right? Why are we keeping him? For what? I would start to get into already looking at coaches. Yeah, all right. So there's going to be a new coach and maybe a new game plan and everything. But why what benefit would be keeping him for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, but who's going to step in for him? Is it one of
the?
It doesn't
matter. It doesn't matter who steps in. You just get like either you get Hansen or you get Aaron Hamill. It doesn't matter. You get me. I'll go there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is you got to start preparing for next year. So, all right. How would it look if you know you're going to sack him and you start already interviewing coaches now, or having a look at coaches now, or even having a word behind their back? What would that be like? Imagine you find out that you are talking to coaches while he's still there.
Yeah, but you would think if the feeling over there with you guys is that he is going to go, then you can be sure that that's already happening.
Yeah, so then
I would say they've already had conversations with Simpson. I reckon they've had conversations with Ken Hinkley finishing off at Port.
Get rid of him. No, you're not going to get Ken Hinkley. Fuck that. If he gets Ken Hinkley, I'm not burying him. I'm not supporting him anymore.
There's a lot of noise over here that Simpson has just sold a house, his holiday home down south, and has also sold his house in City Beach this year, and their intention is to move back to Victoria.
That wouldn't be the worst idea, but that wouldn't be my first choice. But yeah, to me,
who would be your first choice, Rocco?
I don't know. It's not the point who my first choice is. We're just going. If you're saying, "Oh, Simpson's already," I want to do the right process and see who's out there. Let's do the right process, and it doesn't matter if it's a senior coach. It doesn't matter if it's a brand new coach. It doesn't matter. There's a quote from that assistant from Collingwood that everyone keeps talking about. What's his name? Simpkins or whatever.
Skipworth.
Skipworth. Sorry, Simpkins. Yeah, Skipworth. So everyone's talking about him. Let's interview him. Let's see what it's all about. You know what I mean? Let's get the right person out there.
Same as you, Rocco. I want the right process to be followed, but I would like to see a head of footy first, then whoever's remaining from the footy department. But if we're going to replace our senior coach, it has to happen, and it has to happen fast, because we don't want to end up in a situation like with Voss, where he comes in after the draft.
100%.
His players have already been picked for him, and then whatever game style he had at the time, then he's already 2 steps behind.
100%. You've got to, if you're going to get someone, get him in now, man. Not get him in now. I'm saying get rid of him and then start having a word to somebody. See if we get it. Then see his ideas. Who do you want? What assistant coaches? You don't want to wait until someone else has picked them up, or you've got a game plan. Even with TDK, if he's gone, I would not be playing him.
Yeah,
I would not be playing.
Also,
I'll be playing. Who are we playing? Alan? Is that who is? Sorry, Alan. Where the fuck? How far have I gone back? Pitt. Are you going to be our senior ruckman? Right. You're playing. We're going to be working around you now. Why are we wasting our time with TD? I mean, he's our ruckman and we play him up forward. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Why are we wasting time here? If that's what we're going to do, let's do it. Season's done. If we're going to keep him, if that's their intention, yes, then you play him and you start playing for next year. But if you're not, I don't see We'll keep him for 3 games for what?
Yeah.
So Rocco, Scotty, you're the Carlton guys. Do you think that players that are halfway out the door or thinking about like your TDK and Kerno and stuff like that, do you think if you moved on Voss sooner, do you think they'd make a decision about where they're at?
Well,
Yes,
a
because
part of the
holding
kind
them
of
back.
narrative, or maybe not necessarily the fantasy, but the narrative we built in our head for some of these players is just that either they're going because of Voss, or because we've had about half a dozen of them approach Wright, who's the incoming CEO, suggesting who's going to be the coach next year. And you kind of end up in that situation where it's like, who's running this club? Sure, you can ask Wright, but he's probably got a better idea of who's going to be at his club next year than the players.
Yep, I agree, Scotty.
I think, I think the decision around Voss is mutually exclusive than the decision with the players. I think. Yeah.
I would be getting the players together too now and saying, rightio, not that you're going to decide on who the coach is, but I'd be finding out from the leaders what's going on. Like, all right, so you're not happy with the coach, or what aren't you happy about? Like, what isn't working? Like, what do we need to do here? And speak to them like men and see where the club is at, And these players like Kerno and TDK and even Sauce, who are going around saying, like we want to leave and that. Well, what's going on? Do you want to leave? Why do you want to leave? Is it because of this? Yeah. If everyone's saying the same thing, like if everyone's saying it's Voss, like if all the players are saying it's Voss and they're not happy, well, you've got to take that into account, don't you? You've got to be listening to.
Yeah, you definitely do. All right. Yeah,
if it's only one or two, then you go, maybe you're just a bit like dirty about where you're playing and that, whatever, But the other thing you got to think about Voss, this happened in 2012 with Brisbane, right? There was a mass exodus that everyone wanted to leave. They got rid of Voss. It was the same issue. Now we're doing it again. It's the same thing is happening. I mean, there has to be something in that. There's got to be something.
Even if you look at Voss's win-loss rate as Brisbane, it's almost exactly the same as what we've got now.
He had a good year when he first got there. They made finals. They actually beat Carlton in that final, right? Yes. And then after that, they fell over, and it's almost the same with us, like you can get him to a certain, he just hasn't got it. And maybe, and to me, when you look at the way he plays players, I think there's a genuine concern from the players. Like you look at Walsh. Like Walsh he's not an in and under. He shouldn't be getting 12 tackles. Like at times when he plays, he's our leading tackler because he's just a mad player. He'll just kill. He's like Farlap. He'll run himself into the ground, But he's not an in and under. He's always been an outside player. Why are we playing him in the guts where he's getting 12 tackles? His best game this year against Geelong. Yeah. How many tackles did he have? 1 tackle. They played him on the outside, Then you get Motlop. He's not a midfielder. Why are we chucking him in the midfield? He's spending more time in the midfield than the forward line. He just moves players all over the place. He's got TDK now. He turns around and he says, we're lacking forwards while Harry was out. So we got Lemmy in there kicking 2 free goals a week. What does he do? He plays our $1.7 million potential player, Ruckman, in the forward line. Like, the moves are just boggling. So you've got to look at it and go, mate, there's something there. So if he's not the right man, he's got to go. I'd be happy to see him go on Monday.
So you think from a tactical point of view, he just doesn't have the right tactics for the players that he has?
He's never had it, and that they admitted that when they picked him up. They said he's a motivator, not a tactical coach. And it's like, isn't that part of the job description as a coach? You got to have tactics and motivate people.
This is what happened at the start. I don't know if you know this story, but at 4 years ago, the first problem with all of this started because of our president. That I don't like any of it. I'm glad he's gone. Dick pics, fuck off. You know, he was the problem from the start. But the problem was they put all their cards, to me, when I was watching it, all their cards were put in for all their eggs were in one basket for Alistair Clarkson. They were all in for Alistair Clarkson. And he said no at the end, right?
Yeah.
And by then they had no choice but to take Voss. Before that, they put a coaching committee together. They had David Parkins, they had Greg Williams, they had all these people on there, and their recommendation was Kingsley was the best tactical coach out there.
Yeah.
Right? And then they offered him a job as an assistant with the same money. So they did believe that he was the best tactical coach. And then they chose Voss because they needed. Imagine getting Kingsley and he fails. How would you look? Yeah. And then they end up getting Voss. So he tactically, he's no good. They admitted it themselves. Like, it's not, we're not just making this up. They said it themselves. He's not the best tactical. And then they said, we're going to build a team around him, right? I'm going to build like a coaching team around him. What have they done? We've only made I think we've only added like one assistant or two assistants in the whole 4 years. We've got rid of nobody.
So they've been added. We haven't even replaced. They weren't replaced. They were additions. Yeah.
There's a lot of issues there.
Yeah, it's a deep and dark and tragic path, Jezza. Be careful. Yeah. Be lucky that you don't have to deal with this as much as your basket case too. It's nothing like Carlton.
Oh, it's
you mentioned Clarkson there, and you mentioned him at the Kangaroos. I think Clarkson would have been a real, because I think you guys have better players in your team than North Melbourne. A lot of people are going, North Melbourne's not good. Clarkson doesn't have Buddy Franklin or Roughhead or Hodge or Lewis. He doesn't have any players like that in that team. So that's why they're not playing as good as they thought they should be. I thought they were a little bit crazy to think that he would come in and turn that club around in 2 or 3 years. He just doesn't have that quality of players, which really surprised me with Clarkson, because I thought he actually would go to Carlton, because I thought you guys had a bit more better players in your team with Cripps in the middle and the two guys up forward, Kerno and Mackay, and your backline with your love child Wiedering. I thought I had a better list, and I thought Clarkson would have been able to do better. A lot of people forget that Clarkson in his last 2 years at Hawthorn, he wasn't having a great win-loss record there in these last 2 years either, because all of those players that were really good were gone.
Yeah, 100%.
So you only coach what's on your team. You're not going to have fantastic teams if you don't have great players.
But the problem is there, right? And I wanted Clarkson. He was my number one, because with our list, I thought he was perfect for us, right?
Yeah.
He had that CUNT also that we needed. I don't think Voss has got that. He's too nice. And you look at our club, they're just too nice. We're more worried about rainbows, unicorns, like we're just not tough, And I thought Clarkson was the man. But see, there's a reason. You got to look deep into it. Why did he want to come? They offered him a lot of money. They offered him, like, you talking about the $2 million they were offering him, like, this was Tats Lotto money they were offering. And he said no. And then you think, why did he say no? Just remember, his best mate was there as a coach, Bolton.
Yeah.
And also Radden got sacked from there. And he was under thing. You don't think they're speaking to him going, and you don't think he knows? Like, if I go to Carlton, this is a tough gig, man, because the powers above take control of you. And it's the five families, as Scotty says, the five families. And it was a tough gig. He didn't want to come because of the people above him. It wasn't about the team. Like, think about it. It would have been the perfect gig for him. Perfect gig for him. But it's a lot more than just money and football. He just knew that it was too hard. He decided to take a year off football, go in a media, and then go to North Melbourne. Like, think about it. Like, how much you would have to want to go to a place. So, yeah. So
don't forget, he didn't get paid for that year that he was off, because they were supposed to be having a succession plan, and that didn't work. So he said, I'm off. Like, well, here's your $1 million. Enjoy your year off. And
that's right, because he's still getting paid the $1 million. That's right.
And then when he showed up at North Melbourne, he still took half the year off because of what happened at Hawthorn.
He had his own little issues there.
Yeah.
So-
Now, fellas, as much as I would love to talk about the Blues and their doldrums, I think it's about time we started wrapping things up. But before we forget, we do have our tips results, and hasn't it been
Oh yes, look at how things
shocking
have
result.
changed.
Who are the big movers this week? Because I don't actually know the results.
Well, what happened was me and Manny both got 7.
Oh
And,
wait,
No, I got 8.
No, you
I
never.
got 8 out of 9.
No, you never.
Yeah, I did.
I've got them
I
right
picked-
here, mate. I've got them right here, mate.
I picked
got 'em right
Hawthorn.
here.
I picked Hawthorn.
Yes.
Did the Bulldogs win?
Yes.
I like the Swans. I picked the Swans. They lost.
That's right. Yeah.
Did the Suns win?
Yeah. Listen, before you go over it all, you picked the Swans, right? And they lost, right?
Yeah.
And you picked Melbourne.
No, I didn't. I picked St Kilda.
No, you never.
Yeah, I did. I even write things down.
No, you don't. I write them down. You picked Melbourne.
No, I didn't. I picked St Kilda.
Oh,
it's a
whatever.
good thing this show is recorded, Manny. We
I'll
can
go
check the
over
footage
You picked
and
Melbourne,
we can adjust
bro.
next week's results. But you're sitting
Anyway,
pretty,
that's all right.
as you
That's
would
right.
say,
You
Manny.
know what? You know what? This for me is a huge accomplishment because the last 2 years I've been finishing always at the bottom, and now I'm sitting pretty on top. That's okay. That's okay. 1-1-2 is enough for me.
You lose
I'm
another
happy.
one today. You
So-
lose another one this week.
What,
And
you,
as I
you
said,
turned, you
I'm
turned
the
it all
loser.
around and becoming a tipping genius, or you just got lucky this year?
He just
No,
got
I've
lucky.
been studying the form guide.
True. Now, Liam, didn't you get a perfect 9 this week?
Yeah, but not with
Yeah.
us.
I thought I got 6 this week I missed my own team. I missed Melbourne. And I missed out on Brisbane or Gold Coast because I tipped Brisbane.
Yeah, I do my
Yeah,
tips
you're right.
at
You
the
got
start of the
6.
week. Yeah,
No,
I do
you
my
got
tips
6.
like
You
on
did
a.
get 6.
I thought I was on 107.
You did get 6. You're right. I've got that wrong. You got 6 here. I got it here. You got 6. Yeah. So you're 107.
Right. That's good.
So
Yeah. I
you're
didn't think
107. So you're one. So you did. You got 6 and you're 107. And
No.
yeah, Mark only got 5. So you've caught up to Mark. And as I said, I'll be happy to come. I was about 10 behind. Me and you, Liam, we were about 10 behind at one stage.
No, you guys are doing well. You guys are doing well.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, 4 more games.
How are you going in the families tips, Jez?
Oh, it was as bad as the Richmond game a few weeks ago. I was flying it till old mate got the perfect round, and all of a sudden he's 3 in front of me. And
You
so I was
did
just
the same last
might
year.
not necessarily be the finished product, I can assure you.
You did the exact same last year.
Yeah.
You were literally like 12 ahead of everyone, and we finished even.
Oh,
And you
I
finished
don't
by like
receive as much as I want.
You
I
did
finished
by
it
margin,
on
like
percentage,
5
so I
points.
don't think it was even.
We almost can't go a show now without Liam just unleashing a little bit these
He
days.
does.
Oh, mate, I tell you, since he's gone over there, he's got very aggressive.
Hasn't he, Jess? I've noticed in recent weeks, he's very, very aggressive, Liam. He's very.
Do you have any comments about the Richmond dynasty, Jezza, just to get him really going?
What the rebuild or the previous
The
one? that they had?
Richmond dynasty, yeah.
Oh, the Richmond dynasty was good, for
But-
someone that jumped in and started being a fan of the club when they weren't great to watch them win. And he's talking up their chances at the moment. And I noticed you guys said it early on, and I mentioned this to Liam. I do see similarities to Hawthorn from a few years ago. They have got that young team. I think they're heading in
Yeah,
the
I
right
said the
direction.
same thing.
So,
I said the same thing.
you know,
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty
he-
on the money.
Look, I don't know. You'll probably have to have him on his own screen if Richmond get any better because, their head's going to swell a little bit.
I know, because his head's already swollen now, and they've won like 4 games. Can you imagine him in the Premiership years?
Oh,
Jesus.
geez, eh? You'd have to have a split screen just for him. You'd have to
Where do you think I got my big head from, mate? What are you talking about?
What do you got for me, buddy?
Okay.
All right, fellas.
No, you're still a good lad, mate. We'll allow it, but I did have a bit of a laugh when he was getting into you, Manny, over Mason, because I think Liam knows that Mason Cox is not my favourite player either. So
he's not anyone's favourite player.
No. But I was really, really disappointed he didn't get to play his 10 minutes of brilliance for the year. We haven't seen that yet, so hopefully we see it before the end of the year.
Well, he played one game and he took away the opportunity from the Tigers winning four in a row. So we're happy with that. We're happy with that. You can't take that away from him. So, and that was one of his best games.
He's burning.
He is.
All right, fellas, I would love to go all night, but unfortunately, I've got work in the morning, fellas. How awesome is that?
Have you ever heard a whinger? He's worked for 1 week in his life, right? This is the only week he's ever worked, right? And we've got a chat. Before we go, we've got this chat, right? The whinging that comes out of Scotty's mouth about work is like, it's unbelievable. He's worked 1 whole week.
I'm a company man. I'm a salary man, and I've worked pretty hard for this last week and a half, and I'll let everyone know I've booked my first holiday for this weekend. I'll be going to Phillip Island in the middle of winter. Not my choice, but
nice.
Loving it. I got what's called a shout out in the company wide teams meeting today. Not only did I get 1 shout out, I got 2, which has never happened before. Everyone's saying how awesome I'm going, even though I've been doing shit. I've got no idea what I'm doing. I've just been bluffing for the last 3 weeks.
Speaking of shout outs, there's a bloke who's walking into an Irish pub, and he's pulled out of his pocket a little man with a piano, and the little man on the piano sitting on the bar starts playing, and the bloke behind the barman behind the bar says, "Fuck, that's amazing." He goes, "What the fuck?" He goes, "Look," he goes, if you hurry up, there's a genie outside. Tell him what you wish for, and you should get it." All of a sudden, the barman goes outside. He opens the doors, comes back in, and there's a huge stream of ducks coming into the hotel. And the barman says, "The fucking genie must be fucking deaf, because I asked him to give me $1 million." And he says, "Well, I can tell you that I didn't want him to give me a 12-inch penis."
That one's a classic, Manny. That's a good one.
Not too bad.
Well, Manny, you made me laugh.
I thought I'd do something that Jezza would appreciate, and it wasn't sort of something that would have.
I mean, it's pretty insensitive to the Irish
younger
people,
land.
Manny.
So,
I mean,
what's that?
That's all right, mate. The Irish are okay. We can laugh at ourselves. We're not.
You can take a joke. You definitely can take a joke. With Manny's jokes, then it's not about them being funny. It's just funny that Manny's telling the joke. That's the funniest part of the joke.
It's all about the execution.
It is,
and hopefully you get it right one day.
One day I'll get there.
Yeah.
But before we go,
before we go, remember the 20. Oh, yes, on the 30th of August, our TJP live show. Please get there. Fev is such a massive grab, but so is Heath and Brad. This is an all-star panel, plus Monday Blues, plus TJP, of course. And I heard, Manny might be grilling Fev. Could we set that up?
Yeah. You know what we're going to do. So
I heard Manny was demanding that he be on the stage while Fev is on the stage. That was part of his.
Between me and you, there's a few people that have been demanding to come up on stage. But what we are going to do, you will be roaming. There will be a roaming Scotty with the mic.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah.
Yes, roaming Scotty as we got the players up on stage. So anyone that wants to ask a question, roaming Scotty can get the mic over to him.
I'll just be asking Fev questions the whole time.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna ask him about what did he feel. I'm sure he's answered this before, but when Clarkson held him back from that 100th goal.
It's not. You wouldn't ask him about when he held him back. Ask him about the first game of golf he had to play with him. There was a charity golf tournament, and they were paired up. And this is about 3 or 4 years after that game.
All right, we'll ask him about that. And there's a few others a few other things I reckon people will be asking him. So no, it's going to be a big night. All three. Get your tickets. Links below. They are going fast. So it's going to be a great night down at Howler.
Yeah, and don't forget on the 29th, Remix Mania for Mr. Bocek, rising star of the TJP. Remember, if you buy both a ticket to Remix Mania and TJP Live and send it to Bocek, first drink is on the arm.
Yeah, 100%, man. So it's going to be the weekend to send off. Well, no, TJP will still be around because we'll do other shows, but there'll be plenty of other stuff going on. Yeah, but it's a good weekend to. You're coming down, Jez? I reckon you grab yourself a flight, come down, mate. It's gonna be a big weekend. We'll see you at
it's only a good couple of nights, all right. I think I'm heading over at the end of September, actually. So, I have to work every day, Scotty, not just for 1 week. I actually have to do a whole month before I can go over,
So you're coming back down in September, will you?
In September, yeah, going to come over for the grand final weekend.
All right. So make sure when you come down, we'll catch up. We'll go and grab something to eat, and we'll all catch up. How's that sound?
Definitely.
Yeah, sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
All right. Thank you so much, fellas. It's been an amazing show. Thank you to everybody that has stuck with us in the chat. You know who you are. Mick Saka, Petrakan, Enzo Valentino, Robert Galicchio, Mr. Bo, Check, Shadju, Blue Bagger, Spuddicus, the GOAT, Blue Bagger as well. Thank you so much, everybody. And please have a good night. See you next week. Catch the Monday Blues tomorrow night. Catch Bocek on Sunday. We love you all. And up the Baggers!
Go the Blues. Go the Blues.
Up the Blues. Let's